Welcome to the Really Likable Geeks podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Stuart.
This is the podcast where we talk about nerd stuff and things that keep you from going outside, like video games, comic books, anime, and other nerd things alike. How's it going, guys?
Fine.
It's going great.
I could have every fucking time that I wait for him to answer.
Oh, and
first,
he doesn't.
and then I go to answer is immediately when he starts talking. Let's go back. Put that in the fucking clip show.
Okay.
All the times
how
that
many
happens.
times that happens?
I'm going to be real with you guys. I was really close to doing this. Because you turned and looked at him. He turned and looked at me, and I was just going to be like,
So, Marcus Phoenix.
how you doing, buddy?
How's that Gears program?
Where's my...
Yeah,
Where's my son?
Oh, man. As you guys can see, the podcast set is almost done. It's almost there. It's been repainted. Holes have been passed. Things have been moved around. Soon we'll have multicams. You can see what's over on these sides. But yeah, soon. If you're watching it. YouTube.com/likeable.
We're going to have
if you're not.
a very specific Michelle Pfeiffer camera angle right here.
Why did you say Michelle Pfeiffer?
I did. That wasn't her at all.
Do
I
you
fucked
eat,
all
do
that
you
up.
eat with a
Never
good
mind.
knife?
Stuart, is it going to be like one of those home plate cameras right there in front?
Yeah, it's gonna be
Nice.
right here.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore. How you guys been?
Rona?
Well,
You don't have Rona.
No, but I'm just saying Rona's just the way of life now.
Is it getting? Do you think it's getting better?
has the election
Honestly, I
happened
didn't
yet?
even
Not
think
the
it was-
virus. Like
Oh.
it's getting good.
Has the election happened yet?
I didn't even really think it was that bad to begin
Has
with.
the election happened yet?
Yeah.
Was it
No.
November 8th?
Oh, no. Okay, that's not better.
What? November 8th?
When is the? No. When is
The
I
third.
don't fucking
It's
know
the
what,
third.
what year we're in.
Super Tuesday.
Yeah, it's the third. My
Okay, well, excuse me.
My joke
I've
is
said less dumber things or more dumber
This
things.
is not a political podcast, as you can.
I'm having a hard time right now.
This isn't a political podcast. This isn't one about eloquence.
Yeah.
Because we ain't got that shit here. Yeah.
right her.
You want to hear a story real quick?
All right, real quick.
My coworkers, I told them this. One of my coworkers was like, we were watching the debate, and we was like, "Oh, at least we don't have to worry about the electoral college voting this time around because all the schools are closed." And I was like,
Kill yourself.
where do you work again?
"Yeah,
I'm just curious. Where do you work again?
yeah." These people save lives.
Okay.
Not always.
He might not.
Sometimes God intervenes.
Somebody has to drive the bus.
He's
Did
just
you
like,
say-
he coded. We couldn't save him. Guy's like, I'm actually fine. And the person you were supposed to pick up in the ambulance was the guy bleeding next to me.
Yeah.
I kept telling you that, but you strapped me down.
And then shot me full of ketamine.
Good night,
I don't
sweet
think
prince.
anybody's gotten shot full of ketamine.
Charlie Sheen would disagree.
Yeah, but he's on Charlie Sheen, so
Winning.
winning.
Also, I've seen Party Monster.
Facts. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So he thinks that the electoral colleges are going to have a say in this whole thing because all the colleges are closed down. But then
Dude,
he
yeah,
was like,
look, our
Stuart
producer
was-
brings up a really good point. They'll just zoom in and
That's what he
vote from that.
I should have told them like, don't worry about it. It's all going to happen on Zoom. Like, to see what they say, to see what he says.
The Electoral College.
Yeah. The colleges.
That's my
it's
alma
not-
mater.
God.
The Electoral
The electoral. Is that the one in
Graduated the-
Massachusetts? No, the one in North Dakota.
Graduated the Electoral College.
Yeah, that's a real Ivy
summa
League.
cum laude.
The real Ivy League.
It was Dean's List. Jesus.
Oh man, but yeah. So other than Rona being a thing that still exists and screwing our lives up because they just shut down San Bernardino County, or I'm sorry, Riverside
Yeah.
County just got shut down. They went to what is that, Code Purple or whatever. So
Fucking codes are stupid.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
There's no unifying color code system, so everyone having their own just makes it nonsense.
yeah,
Just
Once
tell us
the
how
elec-
bad it is.
Yeah,
Once the
yeah,
election
that-
Just
happens-
describe it to
on a
me.
level of numbers, how bad is it?
Like, unless you're going to use DEF CON, which is universally recognized in America. Don't.
I wish they'd use DEF CON. It sounds cooler.
I remember the terror. Remember the terror levels, the color codes.
Yeah.
For that was also equally stupid.
Terror Code
It's
Brown.
code
What?
orange,
Yeah, Code Brown.
because those are the color of the people you got to look out for. Like, what the fuck?
Wow, I was gonna be more like
That was
you're gonna-
verbatim Dick Cheney. That was exactly what fucking Dick Cheney said. Please Google it.
Wow. I was just gonna be like Code Brown because it's so bad you're gonna shit your pants.
Yeah. That's what they play.
I
the
feel like
brown
mine's
note.
funnier. So
The brown note.
It is, but like I just can't imagine that.
Oh, what's that South Park? The brown noise. Is that
the
what
brown
it was?
noise. Yeah.
Bet everybody in the world shit their pants. We have so much respect for you, South Park. Yeah, it's weird. It's we're all still living in it, and it sucks every single day.
It'll be fine. As soon as the election's over, poof, the Rona will disappear.
Yeah.
All my conspiracy theorist friends tell me that.
You know what I don't understand about the whole idea that you're allowed to eat with other people as long as it's outside. Like restaurants can stay open as long as you can eat out, as long as you can do it outside, right?
Mm.
And so I'm like driving around, I see all these tents and all these places that have you can eat outside.
Yeah, easy ups.
But you're still like in proximity of people less. Yeah, wind is a thing. Didn't the WHO or the CDC or whatever decided that maybe the 6 foot thing was because it was particulates, and then they came out and were like, well, it's
Yes.
actually airborne. So if it's
Well,
airborne, what the fuck does it matter if you're outside?
No, what's even stupider than that is the only way it can be transmitted airborne is if you're one of these fucking morons who's wearing a neck gaiter.
Yeah.
Hey, idiot, that stops nothing, and when you sneeze through it, it aerosolizes it.
Yeah.
So great, you're a fucking chemical weapon.
Yeah.
Like what the? The neck gaiter's not. That's not what it's for.
What it's for? CD. Yeah, they said it was.
No,
fine.
they said the opposite.
No, they said it wasn't fine.
They said the neck gaiters weren't fine.
No, and then they went back and they said that it was fine.
Oh, did they really? Oh, that's fucking crazy.
They didn't make up their
They,
fucking mind.
the WHO also said that the reason why Corona's spreading so much is because people are at home all day.
Yeah,
Like,
that doesn't make any sense.
then I guess we shouldn't have shut down?
Yeah.
Why did you tell people why did you say to shut down and not go get next to people?
This whole coronavirus thing is weird, but like you can eat outside.
I'm telling you, dude,
At
November
restaurants.
4th, coronavirus goes away. We're all good.
What day?
November 4th.
Oh,
day
the
after the
election day
election.
goes away.
Day after the election, coronavirus goes away.
It's so strange, but then again, we're not allowed to have concerts, go to shows outside, doing it. But we can, go to theme parks. But we can sit and eat food right next to each other.
well,
Oh, they're gonna
6
fucking
feet from each
change
other.
it. We gotta stop doing politics, but they're gonna change it where you gotta have fucking plexiglass dividers in restaurants.
That's so stupid.
Restaurants can't afford that. Like,
No, they can't.
unless it's a chain, they can't afford that.
It's like they just like make like a box.
Anyone that's played hockey or been around hockey knows how expensive plexiglass is. It's very expensive.
Yeah,
For like what's essentially just plastic glass.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
very thick plastic glass.
It's stupid how
Oh,
expensive it is.
It's unreal. How
It's
expensive
basically
it is.
just poured epoxy.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like plexiglass.
I'm pretty sure that's all it is.
It's a mixture. They also burn silica,
Oh,
and
don't eat that stuff.
no,
Sometimes it comes in your packages. Don't eat it.
it does. Thank you, Stephen.
You're
Yes.
welcome. This is a public service.
Was that
announcement
our-
for Likable Geeks?
The
Don't eat
more
silica.
you know. Don't eat silica. Hey, you know that package that says "Do not eat"?
Don't do that.
Don't eat it.
There you go. That was our.
Or try it. I
Actually,
don't know.
you know what? I think that qualified. I think that qualified for our community service.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Like it's one of those things where you didn't think you had to tell them. It's kind of like don't eat fucking Tide Pods, but we still
Nobody
did that.
ate a Tide Pod. I'm so sick of people saying that. Nobody ever ate a Tide Pod. The kid put it in his mouth, it burst, and then he burned his mouth. Nobody's eaten one. I'm so sick of people.
You don't know that.
Yeah, actually, you don't know that.
There's 7 billion people on this planet. You don't know that
If
somebody.
one of them
more
ate a
had you.
fucking Tide Pod, it would have been on Twitter immediately.
Maybe it was. We just missed it.
I want you to think about that sentence.
Well, all of my recommendations are
miss-
all recommendations that I put for myself on my hashtags and everything, are things that I'm interested
Oh,
in.
you meant you specifically.
Yeah.
I thought you meant people in general.
Oh, no, me.
Oh, no.
Maybe I just missed it.
Maybe it was one of those times you were shadow banned, so you didn't see it.
That's, I guess, feasible, but unlikely. But it's like,
You know I could have.
I don't like the way you make fun of me, man. That's what that sounds
Matt,
like.
your facts are starting to piss me off.
Well,
Damn it, how
facts
dare
and
you start
logic
making
don't care
sense?
about your feelings.
He's like, thanks for going to tell me that Trump did 9/11 or some shit.
Everyone knows
He
that
was
was
there.
Obama.
He was there.
He paid Russian hookers to pee on him.
Anyways, enough political
All
talk.
right. That's over.
All right. So, Stuart, you wanted to do something a little different this week, which was revisit our roots, which was do something
Why'd
that
you
we
point at
used to do, which all of our
Going back.
podcasts,
I know, I'm
all of our podcast episodes used to be topical. We'd sit, we think about what we're going to talk about, and we would do a topical podcast. Some people like it, some people don't. But we made
Especially the later ones, because we ran out of ideas.
yeah. I
Those
think
later ones were shit.
probably about 30 or 40 episodes when we decided to change it up and occasionally do a topical. So this week we're doing a topical. What is the topic, Stuart?
The topic is who was the real bad guy
Or bad girl.
or girl? Because I was building dramatic effect.
Yeah, and you just fucking ruined it by bringing it up.
He was gonna put the bum
Excuse me.
bum bum.
Yeah, I was gonna dun,
the dramatic
dun,
sting.
just like I put in the technical difficulties. I could do a lot of things.
We don't have
Anyways,
to edit you
I
very
always
far.
edit
You're not
the
mic'd
First
up.
of all,
the topic that I gave these two mooks was think of
Hey, you guys.
hey, you guys,
Hey,
what the fuck?
you mooks. Was think of
Are we gonna get
a
banned for that?
series for mooks. I don't think so.
Is that a bad word?
no?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. The background, yeah.
Let's
That-
not say repeat that.
I told them like think of a series, a book, movie, whatever, where it's very obvious who the bad guy is, and
Or
then tell
girl.
me who the real bad guy of the series was.
Or girl.
I think it's implied at this point, Steve.
Yes. It's 2020. You have to fucking. Anyways.
Who was the BBGE?
Big bad evil guy. Except that you went GE.
The big
Did I?
bad guy
yeah,
evil.
you said big bad guy evil.
Because it's a big bad guy who does evil.
That's
I just
more-
cut out the
that's-
D. I
that's-
cut out the WD because it's too
BBWDGE.
wordy. It's too wordy.
4, 5, 6.
No, because the big bad guy who does evil is the same amount of fucking as
So like I'm trying to
BBGE. I
justify it.
don't have to prove myself to either of you. Yep, fuck this.
Podcast over. Fine.
So anyways,
Andrew, we need you.
the one that I decided to take a shot at.
Are you going first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Since you're eating.
I can talk and eat at the same time. It's
But you
2020.
shouldn't.
I'm
But you
sorry.
shouldn't.
Did your mother not raise you right or something?
She did.
Well, then shut your mouth while you eat.
Oh, fuck yourself. I'm a grown ass adult. I can do what the fuck I want.
So his mother didn't raise him right.
All
Yes, he
right.
did.
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
going to
Yeah.
go
I
back
don't know what I'm
to
saying.
on
I want
topic.
to kill myself now.
So, the one I took a shot at was a series that I actually am not a fan of. But because of my boredom,
You're not a fan of this?
Harry Potter.
not at all.
Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lord of the Rings.
No, why would I be talking about Lord of the Rings? Mine was Harry Potter.
wanted
I
to
was
derail
right?
you.
Oh my god. Yeah, mine's Harry Potter.
Of course you were right.
Mine's Harry Potter.
I guessed.
Who was the real bad guy in Harry Potter? Matt?
I can't say.
What?
can't
It's a
s-
fucking tee up for an easy.
Professor Trelawney.
I can't say his name.
Voldemort?
Don't say that name.
Sometimes I hate you so
Tom
much.
Riddle?
That was good though, right?
Yeah, it was.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So the real bad guy is
The
is
real
Voldemort.
bad guy is not Voldemort.
Wait, what? The
In
books
the
all told
Harry-
me it was
You
Voldemort.
said his name.
I don't give a shit. He's a no-nosed, no-dicked weirdo who talks to snakes.
Hey, you don't know.
No one should be scared. No, I do know because he came out of the fucking cauldron with no cock. When he regrew
He
in
right.
the fourth fucking
I would
year,
like
He
he's
right.
got no nose
He was
and no
in the
dick.
theater watching that scene. He was like, no dick. Like that's the
What's
only
the
thing he cared
point of
about
coming
the
back?
whole time. He
No,
didn't care
because
about
if it-
anything else besides he didn't have a penis.
If you're gonna remake your body with magic, then
that
yes,
demon baby doesn't
cock
have a
and-
penis.
cock and balls are necessary. Because what's the point of living? He's got a fucking. He's like a bird. He's got
He
a
probably
cloaca.
doesn't. He probably doesn't eat.
That's why he doesn't have a nose because he turned into a bird. He's got
Yeah.
a cloaca.
Sure.
A cloaca, for those of you who don't know, is a organ in which both come out. And birds have it. Same place that your butthole would be. Anyways,
This
we've
is a
gotten
great conversation.
we've gotten far afield. Back on topic.
What if Voldemort's actually a girl?
He's not though. His name is Tom Riddle. He's a dude.
What if he changed himself into a girl to have girl parts? He didn't have boots either. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You're right. All right, anyways, going on.
Anyways, the real bad guy of Harry Potter is not Voldemort, and it's not Grindelwald. It's Dumbledore. Dumbledore is the real bad guy overarching through the entire series, going back to Fantastic Beasts all the way through all 7 books. Because I have too much evidence and too much shit to talk about, I'm going to try and condense it with just the 7 core books. So
Okay.
I'm going to ignore all the shit with Grindelwald and Aberforth and Ariana, his sister. We're going to forget all that for the moment, right? So just starting off in the
I
very
forgot what we were talking about. Oh, sorry.
All right, so he's a horrible cheater, but actual bad guy?
Yes, he is the actual villain
What do you mean
of
horrible
Harry.
cheater? What are you
Oh,
talking about?
come
He's
on.
the actual
the
villain.
end of every book, the end of every movie, it's like, oh, Slytherin's going to win the House Cup. And Dumbledore's like, oh, I'm going to give Harry 5 million points for making his bed. And, oh, Gryffindor wins. Like, come on. He's a horrible cheater.
He's also the bad guy.
Okay, hit me.
You think he's a cheater just because he awarded a
Dude, he makes up points for no reason just so Gryffindor can win.
It seems like everyone makes up points for no reason.
But you know what though?
no,
like,
but like he gives them out for really dumb reasons.
nobody else does anything.
Snape takes him away for dumb reasons.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be like an overarching what you can and can't take points away at any given moment.
Okay, but some of his numbers are ridiculous.
Sure.
He's
Anyways,
a horrible cheater.
Back on topic.
Okay, so he's also a very bad person.
He's the villain. He's not a bad person. He's the villain of the entire story.
And why is that?
Because before Harry Potter or after Harry Potter was born, he got to hear the prophecy, right?
Sure.
Prophecy was about Harry, or he wasn't sure. He actually thought it might have been either Neville or Harry.
Right.
And that's why he revealed where Harry, or he revealed part of the prophecy to Snape. And then
Right.
Snape, being the little bitch boy he did, immediately ran and told Voldemort, and that's why Voldemort went to kill Harry's
You're a
parents.
bitch, girl. Sorry.
Right? And Bellatrix went to kill or torture Neville's parents.
Right.
So at the beginning of the first book, you have Dumbledore and Hagrid and McGonagall dropping Harry off on the porch of the Dursleys.
Right.
Why does he give a magical baby to a Muggle family who hate magic and and Petunia hated her sister because she was a witch?
Because he had no other family members.
False. 100% false.
Okay, Jesus.
100% not true.
I thought that was why,
No.
because he didn't have any other family.
That was one of the reasons that he gave him. That's
Oh.
not true.
I believed him.
The second reason that Dumbledore gave McGonagall was that he didn't want Harry to grow up in an environment where he was rich and famous, become another pampered and spoiled pureblood like some of the other wizards and witches, right? That's
Sure.
the only reason that kind of has like some
But did
truth
he
to it.
have like other rich people that he could live with?
Yes, and I will go through it.
Well, I mean, do you count the blacks?
I do.
Okay.
But there's more than that.
What if it's just like law?
There's more. Harry,
Wouldn't
at that time-
without his parents, wouldn't he naturally the next of kin guardianship fall to his aunt?
no, because he has godparents. And in the magical community, godparents can become the magical guardians of children. In this case, though, the magical guardian...
also in a different country, so the rules might be different.
That's
Fair.
also true.
That's
It's also
that's
made up shit.
That's
The other reason was
I don't know
that-
how it is
so
in the UK, so.
Harry's magical guardian was Dumbledore, right? So Dumbledore made those decisions. The other reason that he gave McGonagall or he gave later for why Harry had to live with the Dursleys was that when Voldemort went to kill James and Lily and Harry, Lily cast some kind of blood magic spell in order to protect Harry,
Yes.
and that's what killed Voldemort. So her blood sacrifice enabled him to survive, and then because of that, like the wards on the Dursley house, because they were blood related, were so strong that even if Voldemort was standing outside looking through the window, he wouldn't be able to see or affect Harry. So that was the other reason why,
Okay.
because the wards were so strong around the Dursley house.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is garbage.
yeah, it only
Whether-
worked on Harry.
Whether or not the blood wards or any of that other shit is true, the great thing about fucking magic is that it's magic.
Mm.
Something that you might
Wonderful.
a charm that you might know and you might know. It's called the Fidelius charm. Basically what it means is that you cast this charm and you designate someone who you want as the secret keeper, and then that person holds that secret and no one can ever learn of it unless the secret keeper tells them. So
Right.
say I'm the secret keeper and I tell Matt the secret, Matt cannot tell that secret to anyone because I am the secret keeper. I decides who knows that, right? And we know it works because how were Harry and Lily Potter hiding? Under the Fidelius charm.
Right.
And who was the secret keeper? Peter Pettigrew, who betrayed them. So it's real simple. You have a Fidelius charm, you make Dumbledore the secret keeper, and then Harry's fine. You can change Harry's name and be like, Harry Potter, the secret is that Harry Potter, or that, John Doe, which is the new name of the baby, is Harry Potter. That's the secret. And now no one knows it, and Dumbledore's a secret keeper, and why? And who would he tell? So why put him with a family that he knows hates magic and abuses him, both physically, emotionally, and verbally?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they really downplayed in the movies, but they really beat the shit out of that little kid.
Yeah.
Like, he has
Oh, yeah.
scars in the books, even going into his 7th year from the abuse that he got from the Dursleys.
Yep.
On top of that, if you
And nobody
leave-
reported it. So.
he's on top of that, Dumbledore's Harry's magical guardian.
Mhm.
Why isn't he checking to make sure Harry's okay in the 10-year period until he goes to Hogwarts? Who's checking up on him?
Well, I guess you're right.
They do flybys.
But they don't, because they see him being abused.
No, Dumbledore's the flybys. He
So
doesn't care, though. It's
why
good.
though? Why does Dumbledore do this?
Because that's
Because he's
the
an
laws.
asshole.
But he has a reason, because of the prophecy. The prophecy says that while one lives, they both can't live. One
Right.
has to die for the other one to live, right?
Right.
And Harry will have a power that he knows not,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Dumbledore figures what the power is, and it's the power of love. So he's like, well, how can
Power of love.
I make a child walk up to the sacrificial altar?
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy. We know how, because we've seen child soldiers and we understand why that psychology is bred in them. You emotionally deprive them of all affection, physical abuse, and then you give them companionship.
Mm.
And that's exactly what Dumbledore did to him. How the fuck do you explain any other way that he just like dumped a baby on someone's doorstep? And right?
Well,
So as you were saying, are there other people related that Harry could have been taken in by in the magical community? Yes. He had 3 godparents. First one, Sirius Black. Obviously, he's in Azkaban, so that one's no.
was he in Azkaban the entire time that Harry was growing up, though?
Yes.
Like
he was
before-
because he was arrested because
No,
Sirius
because he
Black-
only did
Sirius-
12 years in Azkaban.
Yes, because he was arrested at so here's the chronological order. Harry and Lily, or James and Lily, are murdered, right?
Mhm.
Sirius Black finds out about it. He knows that the secret keeper for the Fidelius charm was Peter Pettigrew,
Mhm.
so he goes after Peter Pettigrew. In an alley, he confronts Peter Pettigrew, where there's a bunch of muggles around and wizards. Peter Pettigrew screams that, oh, Sirius killed Harry and Lily, now he's trying to kill me. And then he sets off an explosion that kills a bunch of muggles and wizards, and he cuts his finger off. And his finger is the only thing that's left,
Right.
right? That's why
Because
they
he
think Peter...
turned into a rat and went away.
And because he was an unregistered animagus,
Yes.
right? Because all the Marauders were unregistered animagus because they were friends with Remus Lupin, who was a werewolf, and they didn't want to make him feel bad.
Yeah.
And that's why...
Or out him because he was a werewolf.
And that's where all their nicknames come from. Sirius Black was Padfoot because he turned into a dog. Remus Lupin was Mooney because he was a werewolf.
Mhm.
James Potter was Prongs because he
Yeah.
turned into a stag, right?
Yep.
Wormtail for Peter Pettigrew because he was a rat.
Oh,
Right.
I mean, I got it the first time
So
around.
Sirius Black then went to Azkaban, right?
Yes.
But because
Under false
he's
charges of murder.
yes, under the false charges of murder.
Mass murder.
So obviously Sirius Black is out, but because he's the godfather, that means the entire Black family is responsible because that's the way that it works in the magical world.
Mhm.
So, going through the rest of the Black family tree, there's Regulus Arcturus Black, the oldest Black brother, also dead because he used to work for Voldemort and then he betrayed him and then Voldemort killed him,
Mhm.
right? The oldest Black daughter, Bellatrix Lestrange Knee
God,
Black,
is she wacko?
also in Azkaban.
Yeah, and a wacko.
Probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
The youngest Black daughter, which would be Narcissa Black,
Uh-huh.
who then married Lucius Malfoy and became Narcissa Malfoy, mother of Draco. Probably also not a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one more Black daughter, Andromeda Tonks,
Yeah.
the mother of Nymphadora Tonks,
Mhm.
who married a Muggle and
Don't
was
call her
kicked,
Nymphadora.
and was
Her
kicked
hair
out of the
turned
Black
red.
family.
Yeah.
Why not Nymphadora? Why not? Why couldn't he grow up with Andromeda? who rejected being a Death Eater and was excommunicated from her entire family. In fact, the Black Matriarch burned her name off the family tree in 12 Grimald Place, as well as Sirius's.
She would also fit the bill of I don't want him to grow up rich and famous so that he doesn't become a spoiled little brat.
Fucking exactly.
Lifestyles of the rich and the famous.
So there's the direct one. So his other godfather, Remus Lupin. They wouldn't give the baby to Remus because he's a werewolf, even though Wolfsbane is a thing. Wolfsbane is a potion that makes it so that you don't go all crazy when you werewolf out. So literally all you have to do is get Harry a babysitter one day of the month and give Remus Wolfsbane potion, which they could have done at any time because they only started giving it to him when he fucking became a professor at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
At any point, they could have given it to him, and he could have taken care of Harry.
Why didn't Dumbledore just take him in?
Because he's the evil. Because he's the bad guy.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that. I forgot that there was a purpose to this.
And then the other godparent of Harry was Susan Longbottom, Neville's mother. But she was in a coma from the Cruciatus.
Cruciatus curse.
So obviously she's out.
But I have a question, though.
Sure.
Okay, so you think that Dumbledore is the bad guy?
Yes. This is just the preface. I'm getting to like the meat and potatoes.
Oh, okay. Go ahead then, because I was gonna jump forward.
So I'm gonna.
I was gonna fuck it all up.
I'm finishing out the family trees of all the places he could have lived.
Right.
Right. So the other thing is that Harry is the descendant of the Potter family. Right. He's the last Potter. Potter was ancient family of wizards. Right?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of other Potters like making stuff. So.
Potts,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, probably Potts.
Why
and
they
Pans.
got that last name.
That's true. So they were a minor family originally because they broke off
Because they hung out
from-
with the guys that were down below in the mines.
I was about to say no.
And
no,
they were
no.
ancestors of the
Miners would have a
Carpenters.
different surname.
The Carpenters were the ones that would make like chairs and stuff. Sorry, dude. He wants to kill me right now.
The Smiths would use what the miners dug up.
You guys are actually proving my point because Potters were not an
know.
original pure bloodline. They
I
were an
know.
offshoot. Which family did they offshoot from?
The Smiths. That threw me off.
I don't actually know.
You guys should. 3 brothers.
I read the book.
They made the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, I don't remember their name though.
The Peveril brothers.
Yeah.
Harry is a descendant of them. Do you know who else is a descendant of the Peverils?
Dumbledore. Yeah,
Yup.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, because isn't that like his?
Dumbledore. You know who else is a descendant of the Peverils? The Weasleys.
the Weasleys? Yeah.
There's 2 families right there. Like, if your excuse is that, oh, well, Albus has to run a school, okay, there's another Dumbledore, Aberforth. What's wrong with Aberforth? Nothing. Why couldn't he grow up with Aberforth? Why couldn't he grow up with the Weasleys? And if anyone's...
He's not a ginger, and that doesn't fit with
if
the.
your excuse is like, oh, well, the Weasleys are kind of hard up because they were blood betrayers, and that's why they don't have money, and they've got 8 kids, and that's why the borough is kind of shitty. Hey, you know who's rich? Harry. Harry's rich as fuck.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Yeah.
But I'm saying
He tries to help people out when they
He
don't want
doesn't
no,
help.
but I'm
fit with
saying
the
they could
motif.
fund. They could.
He's not a
fund-
ginger. He can't live with the Weasleys.
dude. Transfiguration and the Fidelius charm. That's it.
Yeah, transmogrification.
No, you know McGonagall.
All right,
She's
fine.
the professor of
Yeah. She can change.
transfiguration. Now he's got red hair. Also, hair dye is a thing.
Or they could just not care.
Or they could just not care.
You have to care. That's part of the motif of the Weasleys. They're all gingers. Every single one of them.
or here's another thing that no one talks about. Guess what was happening right before the start, or right when Harry's parents were killed?
Quidditch finals.
The World Cup.
I don't know. I was just throwing out random
don't
things
know.
to be an
Snape
asshole.
was-
These are both very easy questions I keep tossing. There was a fucking war. There was a war.
there was
a
a
war
war.
against Voldemort.
Yes.
You know what war creates? Orphans. Magical
I was
orphans.
gonna say family.
Where did those babies go? They were
gonna say
taken in
dead
by other
people.
magical families that they were related to.
Yeah, or an
You're telling me
orphanage.
you can't slip one more baby in there?
No, it's very
Say
important.
that, oh, this is actually the child of 2 fucking fuck all wizards who died that nobody really cared about.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, can you take them the Weasleys or Aberforth or fucking anybody. In fact, if you want to be really twisted, you could have given him to fucking Lucius and Narcissa.
Oh Jesus.
But you see what I mean? There were options where to put him, where he could grow up in safety, grow up without being pampered, and still be safe.
I mean, technically, he could have gone to any family because if you go
And
far
also know
enough
about magic
back,
early.
Exactly.
There's
They
only
all
two.
trace their lines back to Merlin Emrys.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, they all go back, so anybody could have taken him in because they're all related.
Exactly.
Somebody fucked someone's sister.
Exactly. Exactly. Like the Merlin.
Yeah, you ever notice that they say like
King Arthur.
Merlin's beard, like in
That's
show,
technically
in the
where-
movie? Wow. Okay.
So
Anyways,
Actually, his children with his wife would
disagree.
prove otherwise.
anyways,
You don't like Harry Potter, really? Wow.
I don't like it either.
Wow.
That's why I'm ripping it a new one.
Okay, go on.
All right. I will continue.
All right, so there's a lot of
Let's-
places that Harry could have gone. He didn't.
Yes. Let's go to first year.
Okay.
What does this is probably a stupid question. So while they're on the train and Hermione's all excited,
As she is.
How long
she
is it?
tells
That's every year.
she tells them I wrap it up.
No, I'm asking.
Okay. The first
We
thing
have a time limit to prove our point.
Hermione
No, I know. I wanted to know when he started.
Hermione's excited. She's on the train,
she tells
Hit
them
me.
that she's been trying out spells before school started, right?
which she can't do
But she did. Why can't she do it though?
because you're not allowed to do magic outside of school before whatever age.
And yet,
And when you do, the ministry comes down on you like instant.
how?
Magic.
But what is the specific magic? It's called the trace.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because they would say you still have the trace on you.
Yeah.
If you use
and
magic, they'll know.
The instant you
Yeah.
use it, like
In
within
fact-
10 seconds, an owl shows
in
up and they're like,
fact-
yo, you do this again and you're done.
In
you
fact,
go to Azkaban.
Alistair Moody says, the real Alistair Moody says that it's not just an underage wizard doing magic. It's anyone around an underage wizard doing magic, right?
Yeah.
So then what the fuck? Why are Harry does magic himself
all the time.
all the time outside of school.
Hmm.
And yet only this one time is he called before. But let's go back
He
to
did it in the presence of his brother, though.
who?
Harry.
No, he didn't. He's
Yeah, he
underneath the covers in the beginning of third year doing Lumio, so he can.
No,
read
he
his
saved
name.
his brother from the.
He made the glass disappear. That's why the snake got loose.
Yeah, there's that too.
Like that's magic. He made the
Yeah.
glass disappear.
He turned his hand to the fucking Hindenburg.
Okay, well, he got in trouble because he saved his brother from
Cousin.
cousin, whatever the fuck,
Yes.
from the Reaper thing. What the hell is that thing
Dementor.
called? The Dementor.
Yeah,
And he got in trouble.
He popped the Patronus.
And he got in
So-
trouble for that.
Anyways, what happens in the first year?
All sorts of shit.
All sorts of shit. So there's
Ron plays chess and gets 500 extra points and they end up winning.
first of all,
it was the
why-
greatest game of chess Dumbledore's ever seen.
how many
Neville got the points to win because he stood up to his friends.
Yeah.
defense against the dark arts teachers
7.
would you believe that Dumbledore was completely ignorant about?
All 7 of them. Wasn't there one every year?
One.
Which one?
First one.
Quirrell? The guy who was wearing a turban and is whiter than snow?
Yeah.
Nobody had any questions about why this dude's wearing a turban.
He should have questioned him.
Okay, there's two possibilities.
That's what I'm saying. There was.
Either
You asked me,
Quirrell-
was there one that he wasn't unsure about?
I'm sorry, what I meant was there ever one that wasn't like shit? Like, how could he not be suspicious of them?
The only one that he wasn't suspicious of was the professor that he went to his house and he looked like a chair because he was in Half-Blood Prince. What was that professor? He's friends with Dumbledore, and Dumbledore invited him back.
Talking about Alistair Moody?
No, he's a dark arts teacher. Damn it, continue. I'll find his
Okay.
name. He was.
So
I don't think he was questioning him because he was like good friends with Dumbledore.
he was also good friends with Alistair Moody, and he couldn't tell that it wasn't fucking Alistair Moody.
It was
Unless-
Barty
if
if
Crouch.
you're really, really good
Dressed
at
up
what
as
you
Alistair
do.
Junior. Dressed up as Alistair Moody.
No, it's not junior. Junior. If you're really good
It
at
was
making
David
the
Tennant
curse, though,
dressed
like
up as
you can't be
Alistair
going
Moody.
around
No,
like
no, no,
D&D
hold on,
being like
hold
detect
on.
evil.
No.
Like-
No. Hold on. Well, I'll get to that.
You ever played D&D?
I'll get
You
to
ever
it.
have a paladin?
I'll get to
yes,
it.
actually,
It's not
you can go around yelling detect evil at everything.
That's actually true. So the first year. Either Quirrell always wore a turban, in which case, why is his turban suddenly bigger as if there's a second head on the back of his head? Or 2, he never wore a turban and people should be like, why the fuck you wearing a turban, dude?
yeah.
Why is it that Dumbledore
What if
can...
he just didn't wear a turban and then had someone keep a secret, and so it just everyone else saw that was just a regular back of his head?
It's not really a secret that he didn't wear a turban before because people had seen
No, but
him.
what I mean is like the secret is I don't have Voldemort's face in the back of my head. The secret is I do have Voldemort's face in the back of my head. So you have someone keep that secret.
No, you know that it's not Fidelius Charm because Harry sees him and guesses it. Under the Fidelius Charm, neither of those things are
But that's
possible.
what I'm saying. Like why
Oh,
not use
I'm
the
a
Fidelius
dumbass.
charm
He wasn't,
so that you
I'm
could just walk
stupid.
around without a turban and nobody sees Voldemort's face in the back of your head because it's a secret.
I'm sorry, I forgot he wasn't a
I suppose
defense
it's possible,
against
but the problem,
dark arts
problem,
teacher.
who
The guy I'm thinking about, he was a potions master.
Slughorn?
Yeah,
Oh,
Horace. That's what I
fuck
was
that
thinking.
guy. He's racist.
Okay.
Also, he taught Voldemort how to make Horcruxes.
You don't think though that you think that Dumbledore didn't look at Remus any which way weird because knowing that he was like a werewolf and all that shit?
It's just why okay, if you're the principal of a school and suddenly one of your teachers is talking to himself, mysteriously keeps disappearing, and at the same time
And wears a turban.
at the same time that unicorns keep getting eviscerated and insanguinated.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the times where they can't find Quirrell. It's like, where's Quirrell? He's not in the castle because Dumbledore can talk to all the paintings and the ghosts and know where everyone is at all times.
Mhm.
Like he's his own Marauders map.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, where's Quirrell? Oh, another dead unicorn. Like
You can't put two and two together.
the fucking children put it together, and then you're like, oh, so we're gonna
10,000 points to Harry for putting it together.
We have-
Gryffindor wins.
we have the Philosopher's Stone, right? And we know Voldemort wants the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone.
Correct.
it was the
So the good
philosopher.
idea was to put it in a school filled with children?
Nobody wants to hurt children.
And then make the traps so easily bypassed that those same children could beat it.
Yeah.
Only if you possess the exact set of skills.
Dude, 11-year-olds can't beat chess online, like just the chess game on Windows. No fucking way Weasley's gonna beat wizard chess. Like,
No,
Maybe
he will
he's
when
really
he
good.
sacrifices himself.
Maybe he used the
if that's
magic to
and
be
that's
really
what
good.
happened. And Harry's like,
know.
oh, that's what friends do. They sacrifice themselves for each other. All of this is a
They
fucking-
die for each other.
No, but that's what he saw, and that's what he learned.
Yeah.
Because that's what Dumbledore wants him to learn. Because
friends are willing
Dumbledore
to die
wants
for each
him
other.
to fucking kill himself, in order for Dumbledore to step in and once again be the champion of the light, the fucking head
And kill
sorcerer of the
Voldemort?
Wizengamot, and beat Voldemort. Because it had been 70 years since he had last defeated the Dark Lord, and people weren't really too high on him anymore. They were talking about the boy who lived.
Do you really think that
I
he
honestly
was
believe
doing
that.
this because of clout?
Yes, 100%. That's all wizarding community is. That's all wizarding community is. It's all about clout and purebloods.
I don't think so.
Why
about that
else
one.
would he put the stone in the school?
Maybe he saw exactly what needed to happen in order to defeat
He didn't.
Voldemort.
That's not. He could. So he was a seer.
Yeah,
He's not though,
he does everything else.
because he's evil.
Yeah,
Right?
he knew. How would he know even what to do as far as Harry Potter in the beginning without knowing that there was going to be some outcome and some steps that needed to be taken?
Because everything he
And
does,
he fucking died.
Everything he does, but that was a mistake.
You know,
He
no,
didn't-
he did it on purpose.
No,
because he told
was
Snape he needed to kill him.
because he was already dying. Because he was poisoned by the ring Horcrux. He was already dying. That wasn't part of the plan.
But what was the? But what, if he lived, what would have been the outcome?
That wasn't going to be the plan. He would be once again the champion of the light, the head sorcerer of the Wizengamot.
I don't know.
Let's exactly.
But he died on a low while like everyone was looking at him all shady and was talking shit about Hogwarts and under his rule and blah blah blah. And then he died and everyone was like, "He was a great wizard."
Exactly.
Nah. Nah.
So that's
yeah,
first
because
year.
because you got to think about
God,
it.
that was first year.
First year.
You got to think about
Because
it this way.
it's a long. Here's how Dumbledore works. All of his plans, he doesn't tell anyone anything. All of his plans are planned years in advance, and you only see later, like the full scope of it.
Okay.
So second year.
Because here's the other thing. He has this god figure with Harry. Harry practically idolizes him. So even if the unthinkable is to happen and Dumbledore dies, as long as they win in the long run, he's still
the hero.
the hero. Because Harry's going to be like, Dumbledore, Dumbledore, Dumbledore.
He made his perfect little child soldier. When this guy is the cause of 90% of the grief and pain that Harry has experienced. Dumbledore has hurt Harry far more with his actions than Voldemort ever did.
And he made up for it with 10,000 points.
Well, I'll give you your father's own cloak that he wanted you to have 10 years after he died.
It was a nice gesture.
No, it wasn't. He stole his property. It wasn't his to give.
Okay.
To be fair, Harry shouldn't
So if
have
you
gotten
die
it until 18,
Uh-huh.
though.
and I grab like all this shit, and then 10 years later it's like, oh, Gideon, here you go. Your father wanted you to have this.
I'm dead. Who do I give a shit?
But that's my...
But, like, does that make him a good guy?
No, it just makes me an asshole because I took some child's shit.
All right.
Yeah. After I've already had my fun with it.
You think you put it on was like, woo.
Yes, because
Yeah.
because it was a Deathly
Who
Hallow.
wouldn't put on
It
an
could literally
invisibility
hide
cloak?
you from death. He's old as fuck.
Who wouldn't put on the invisibility cloak?
Oh,
Even
God.
just for fun.
We all know it's actually a green screen.
Oh my
You
god.
can't see a green screen when you key it out. So.
You
Second-
put the
second year.
invisibility cloak on, you go out into the Muggle world, and you start just like standing there on the street corner. Flat tire.
Oh,
And you just laugh.
here's the other thing. Dumbledore can see dark magic.
Mhm.
He sees it coming off Harry's scar. But he doesn't see the evil Dark Lord on the back of somebody's fucking head that had to be radiating dark magic.
It was a magical turban.
Maybe he knew, but
He also
was waiting for the right
drinking
time.
unicorns.
Yeah, it's
What
pretty-
right time?
pretty
Now,
dope.
before school starts, and he's around children. Stop exposing your children at your school to evil wizards. It's not hard.
But then how will they learn
that
defense against the dark arts?
that all the defense against the dark arts teachers are dicks?
Yeah. I think because of
All right, children. Defense against the dark arts 101. This is the only class you're going to have for the entire year. We'll never meet again. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Everyone pull out your wands. Last one standing gets an A. Everyone else fails. Here we go.
The second year, Chamber of Secrets.
Uh-huh.
Right? Once again, Dumbledore can see dark magic. He can recognize a Horcrux by sight. Ginny Weasley's walking around with a fucking Horcrux for the entire year. And he's like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
maybe he didn't know.
What do you mean he didn't know? He sees all the children
Maybe
at
he was
every
like-
meal.
Maybe he was like, she doesn't know what that is.
You know what he knows? Here's what he knows.
Of course she doesn't know that it's a goddamn Horcrux.
But if he steps in, how can Harry save his future girlfriend?
Is a Horcrux evil?
yes, it's a splitting off a piece of your soul
But why is that evil?
because it's ripping your soul.
Because
and
what if you were like about to die
The
as a good
Horcrux
person
itself
and then you
is
split your
not
soul so you
evil.
can
It's
survive
inherent-
and
yes,
save
it is an
all of the
inherent-
Muggles?
a lot of the way that
Even-
the way that they describe magic in Harry Potter universe is a lot of the darker wizards like Sirius and Remus say that there is no, and Aleister Moody as well. He says there's no such thing as real dark magic. It's intent. What is your intention?
Right.
Voldemort's intentions were evil, therefore his Horcruxes
Yeah,
are
and
dark.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the Horcrux itself isn't evil.
I can't
But
imagine
considering
splitting off
you're
pieces of your
using-
soul to make yourself immortal being a good thing.
To do good. What if it was to do good?
Okay, but
I don't think you can tear out a piece of your soul to do good.
so you could live longer, so you can continue to do good.
I mean, you could just teach other people to do good, and that would.
Well, what if it wasn't working and you
Plus
just wanted
ultra.
to keep
Okay.
being- yeah, plus ultra.
My point being is that
What if you could
For-
give your soul to somebody else?
Dumbledore knows Horcruxes by sight.
Yeah.
That's
Harry's
it.
future
Why did
girlfriend
he-
is
why does he
walking
let-
around with one,
why
and
does
he's
he
like,
let-
cool.
Yeah. Why does he let Ginny Weasley walk around with a Horcrux all year?
Because you know where it's at.
Why does he let
That's
students
actually
die
decent.
from the basilisk?
Less of a good point.
Because reasons, Stuart.
Because
okay?
he's evil. There's no other reason to allow children to die. He's knows the Chamber of Secrets is open. He's seen it before when, man, who else was in school during the last time the Chamber of Secrets was open and a child was petrified by a
Voldemort.
basilisk? Oh, right, Tom Riddle. Shit. Maybe it's related. There's two.
Shit.
So once again, he allows Harry to realize that, oh, sacrificing myself for someone else is a good thing because what does he do?
Get 10,000 free points.
He shoves his fucking he goes and fights a basilisk. Like that's probably a couple
pretty
thousand.
dope.
It's over 1,000 years old
It's pretty dope.
because it was made by Salazar Slytherin.
So the question I'm starting to wonder here though
and then
is
he wins the House Cup because of it.
is Dumbledore bad or is Harry Potter just stupid
I think it's
and gullible
I think,
and also a child?
I think it's unfair
When
to
you've been
expect an 11-year-old to automatically disregard authority figures who act as if they have your best interests.
And when you've been manipulated your entire life, I mean, it's been 10 years of nothing but abuse, and then all of a sudden,
A nice
here comes
old
somebody.
wise wizard and a nice white beard. Like he looks like the prototypical idea of wizard when you think of wizard.
Well, on
Right,
top of that,
right.
Harry's saved.
Always giving out candies.
He's
He's
Harry
like a
gets
fucking
saved.
grandpa.
Harry's literally saved at that point. 11 years of getting the crap kicked out of him, and then along comes someone that goes, "Hey, man, I'm really sorry that you're in the situation.
You're a wizard, Harry."
But guess what? There's more to this than you think, and I'm ready to put you somewhere where you can be better than you really think you are. Let's go be good. Let's go make
Let's
wizards.
go be good, make good decisions.
Let's go make wizarding great again."
They found a little red wizard hat.
For a kid who's been, kicked to the curb for 10 years, like, I mean, it's a better way.
Here's the other thing. Dumbledore knew about it the whole time. He
Yeah.
knew everything about the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
He knew children were dying. He knew Harry was going down there. Because how else would Fawkes go down there, the Phoenix, and deliver the Sorting Hat, which just so happens that you can pull the fucking sword of Godric Gryffindor out of, and that's the thing that kills the basilisk.
But it appears when it needs to be used.
Yeah. The
Anywhere.
Sorting Hat doesn't appear when it needs.
Anywhere.
No, the Sorting Hat doesn't.
It doesn't.
No.
But Fox brought the Sorting Hat.
Yes. And who is Fox's owner?
He knew. He's a free spirit. He goes wherever he wants. A
Nope.
Phoenix.
He's bonded to Dumbledore. That's
Also-
how
also he's
that's how
in a
Dumbledore
cage
is
half the
able to
time.
use the Phoenix, the Phoenix fire to travel. He doesn't have to apparate. Remember when he calls the Phoenix
Yes.
to him? He can do that outside, like even if they have wards that prevent apparating.
Yeah.
Which is how they do their little teleportation thing or port key blockage.
Yeah.
The Phoenix can still break all those. It goes
Yeah.
through those.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
It is. But my point being is that yes, the
Say if
Phoenix
you
brought
want.
him the hat.
Dumbledore's got style.
He's also a dick.
Because he's a bad guy, so he's got cool gadgets.
He's not a bad guy. You can be a
He
good
is
guy
the
and have
bad
cool
guy.
gadgets. Look at.
But in this
fucking
case, he's a
James
bad guy
Bond.
and he has cool gadgets.
Look at James Bond. He's
He
got
doesn't
cool
make
gadgets.
those?
But he still got them. Dumbledore didn't make a Phoenix.
And so he did.
All right.
You say he didn't.
All
make
right.
it.
But
all
he made
of
the
these-
pensive,
All of
his own
these
pensive.
all of these
'Cause he's
arguments
smart.
that you're putting up don't scream to me that Dumbledore is the bad guy. But they do, like, you make a lot of good points where Dumbledore is a bad
No,
guy.
he's the bad guy because all the choices that he makes lead to all of the outcomes in all the books.
That's true, but at the same time, regardless of any choice he makes, Voldemort's still doing what Voldemort does.
I'm sorry. What's the
Voldemort
point? What
things.
was the point of not getting to Harry like 5 months before school started or a month before school started and being like, "Hey man, we know you don't know anything about wizarding or any of that shit, but here's like a primer that you should know before you go to a wizarding school." Why
Dude.
didn't they prepare him? No. He's
They
isolating.
don't want him to feel special and grow up like fancy.
Yeah,
You said
another
that
word.
yourself.
Another word for that is
Fancy.
called isolation. You isolate people when you want to manipulate them,
Matt, it sounds like you're starting not to agree with him.
and that's what he's done Harry's whole life is isolate him.
Because I am also not agreeing with him that Dumbledore is a bad person.
I'm
The
ju-
more he goes on about it, the more I still don't think Dumbledore's a bad guy.
No.
So you're saying
I think Dumbledore is
The-
a bad guy.
I don't.
So you're saying
The more he says, the more I
As
think
a parent-
Dumbledore is a bad guy.
if you're
I just don't
if
think
the
he's
principal
the
of your child's school put whatever MacGuffin you want to name inside of the school, and then put like some traps around it, and just told the kids like, "Hey, don't go down that hallway."
Uh-huh.
You'd be fine with that.
I would be like, where's the faculty to prevent me from going over there?
There's. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I'm saying, is that the actions of a good person
Like what?
to
there's like
endanger
there's
children
like a
constantly?
But there's no choice anywhere place to have it because it was guarding
Literally
something very,
fucking anywhere. Literally any.
It was guarding something very special.
Oh man,
Very important.
remind me, what's the most secure place in England in the wizarding world?
The room requirement.
No.
The toilet.
Literally anyone can walk into the room of requirement.
The
It has to
toilet.
appear for you.
Okay, but then literally anyone can walk into it. What's the most secure place in
The
England?
toilet.
No,
Secure place in England?
in magical England, in the Harry Potter universe.
Diagon Alley.
No,
I
The
have
bank.
no idea.
Gringotts.
Oh, Gringotts, yeah.
Gringotts.
Yeah, but they.
Where was the stone before that?
But here's the thing: you can't trust the goblins
Why?
because they're greedy.
Is
That's-
that true, or
yeah.
is that the racism
Dude,
from
they
people
literally-
from purebloods?
No, they literally.
because I've never heard a Muggle-born wizard say that. I've only heard pureblood say that, and they're racist. So
the goblins run like the bank and
Yeah, I
everything
know.
because they're greedy. They have control over that entire thing.
okay.
They have keys to everything. They have access to everything.
And what was their stance with Voldemort? They actively stood against him and closed his vaults.
Yes, so
Yes.
that also proves that they have the power to do anything.
But that
Yeah.
proves they have morals.
So certain things there, they're very much they like really valuable things. As so we saw in when Harry and everybody was down with the dragon,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't give a fuck about them. He cared about the sword.
Yeah.
He didn't care about anything. He
Yeah.
cared about a possession.
Yeah.
So
You're talking about Flitwick.
yeah.
Yeah.
So all the other goblins are pretty similar to that. They're very greedy. They like
Yes.
materialistic
They
things.
want to
So-
keep the most valuable things under lock and key so no one can take them.
But some things are, but I wouldn't say that everything should be where the goblins are. Not everything should be.
You
with
asked
the
me to name
goblins.
a better, more secure place than a school filled with children.
I don't feel like that's a better place.
it is a
though.
more secure place. It was proven in the story.
But then people would have to know about it. Then other people would have to know that it's
fault
there.
do you think it was in?
Huh?
What does Hagrid do when he first goes with Harry to Gringotts?
He goes to the vault and shows Harry
to get what? No. Hagrid breaks off from him. He's like, "Oh, I got to pick something up."
Yeah.
What does he go to pick up? The Sorcerer's
The
Stone,
Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah.
right? Because it was in a vault.
Yeah.
And then what happens when they read the newspaper a week later? Someone tried to
Somebody-
break into Gringotts and failed.
Yeah.
There you go. Security
Okay.
works. Should have kept it in the fucking vault,
Right.
not around children.
Okay.
Not with a dog who can literally be put to sleep with a lullaby. Or flying keys, and then you provide
what
the
was the
brooms
p-
to get the keys.
Well, what was the purpose of the stone?
to draw Voldemort out?
Okay.
They already they did because he tried to break into the vault, Steve. So once again, proving that the vault was the better place to keep it because better security.
just me. Like he just
Because you proved yourself wrong. You proved yourself wrong. I didn't think you were going to prove yourself wrong.
I'm telling you, man, the toilet. That's where you got to keep it.
But okay. All right, fair enough. I don't want to argue anymore after that though.
10,000 points to Stuart.
You know what that was? That was a retard. That's what that was.
I was so upset that you proved yourself wrong. I wanted to keep going.
God.
Like, no, that's my point I'm trying to make.
I just feel
Don't
like
make my point for me.
I just feel like Dumbledore knew what was gonna happen.
How? He's not fucking prescient. He's not, though.
He seemed to always know and have
Did
a
he,
leg up
or
on
was
every situation though.
Okay. Did he, or did he just never share what he knows with people so it seemed like he knew what he was talking about?
Okay.
He never tells anyone what
I
he
have
knows.
a sidebar for this real quick. your point that you're trying to make is it seems like he knows more than everyone else.
Yeah.
If you're the guy who's running the plan, even if the plan doesn't work all the way at the end, if each stage of the plan is going off, yeah, you know more than everyone else around you because you're the one running the plan. You're setting this up to do this, then this, then this, then this. Even if you don't get to your end goal, if you're setting it up, you know more than everyone around you.
What
Kind of
was
proving his point.
the purpose of Dumbledore doing all of this, though?
He said clout.
Well, yes, but
Because
was it,
he's
but was
because
it
he's
not
fulfilling the
also
prophecy.
to defeat Voldemort?
Yes.
Yes.
Did he not, with his actions, achieve that?
No.
So up to the point to where he died, everything that happened prior to that, anything could have happened at all, and the outcome still would have been the same.
I think we're making a fundamentally different argument.
Well, because his goal was to
what
get Harry to
you're
kill
saying
himself.
is that
Because saying he was
you're
the
saying
bad
that the
guy.
ends justifies the means.
Yes.
And I'm saying they don't.
I think they
When
did.
those ends or the means at which you get to the ends are abusing children or putting children's safety.
So we're saying that because he put children at risk, he's ultimately the evil guy
I don't know any good people who put children
Over-
in physical danger.
over the guy who is putting things in place to also harm whoever comes across it.
So I guess I would say that they're the same. Like the end
Voldemort's
result.
also just as bad as Dumbledore, but they're
Yes.
not working together.
No, they're not working together. No. I'm not saying that they're working together. I'm
I
sorry.
didn't-
Did you take that?
No.
That's
I'm
not what I
saying
meant.
There was a goal to defeat Voldemort,
Yes. And he used.
and there's many methods that had to happen
think-
in order to make that happen. They have a room that is full of prophecies.
Yeah. The Hall of Secrets?
Yeah.
Or the Hall of Mysteries?
Or a Hall of Mysteries or whatever it is. Yeah.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
who's to say that some of those prophecies
So-
didn't tell like the events to come?
It's an unknown, so I guess like we can what if back at each other.
Yeah.
But I'm just staying within the context
Because
of
they
what
actually
was
go
written.
to that place with the
They
prophecies.
do, and they only look at the one pertinent prophecy.
Right.
Because prophecy in Harry Potter works the same way as prophecy in every other fantasy. It's fucking vague as shit.
Right.
In fact, it was so vague that they accidentally fucking knocked Neville's parents into a coma.
How much time we got there, Joey? You got to wrap it up.
Okay.
I know I derailed you a while, but I had
Alright.
real questions.
That's fine.
My takeaway from this,
I have
I-
more if anyone's
I
interested.
still don't think Dumbledore is the
Well, what's
bad guy, but you have convinced me that Dumbledore is definitely a bad person. Big bad evil guy? Nah, because Voldemort's literally trying to take over the world.
what did you have for this in closing? You had to wrap this up somehow. What did you have for wrapping it up? Because we all read the books, we've all seen the movies.
It was a deluge of so much evidence that at some point
Oh,
you
it's just
got to be
more
like,
point.
it's just more evidence. Like
Uh-huh.
at some point you have to be like, either he's a fucking idiot or he's doing this on purpose. I don't believe Dumbledore's an idiot, which means he's doing this on purpose. Because yes, I do believe that he has a plan, and I think his plan is evil.
I don't think his
because-
plan was evil.
What would you describe as abusing children? Because that's what it
There's-
is.
there's a
It's child
lot.
abuse. It's evil.
Fair enough.
I can't think of like anybody good who would use children as meat shields and suicide bombers. And that's effectively what he made the entire school of Hogwarts, as meat shields and suicide bombers.
Okay. But I agree with Matt. He's not the bad guy, but he's kind of stupid.
I'm not saying he's stupid. I definitely think he is a bad guy. But
But
his,
what does that say?
his end goal, because if we're gonna
Was
go
to
back,
get a kid to kill himself.
if we're gonna go back to the ends justifies the means, his end game goal, regardless of motive, is I'm gonna stop Voldemort.
So
He wants to be the one to do it, but he wants to stop the guy who literally wants to basically like rule the world with so much of an iron fist that he'll kill anybody.
Yeah.
that's Grindelwald. Voldemort wanted to kill all the Muggles. Grindelwald wanted to enslave them.
But that's what I'm saying. He
Yeah.
wants to kill. Voldemort will kill children just because
Yeah, we saw him
kill
do it.
all Muggles.
We saw him do it.
Right. So the point I'm trying to make is I would say Voldemort is the big bad evil guy because at the end of the day, regardless of motive, Dumbledore's goal is to stop that.
No. The only reason that Harry became a Horcrux and the prophecy was even relevant was because Dumbledore told Snape, knowing that Snape would then tell Voldemort. That's the catalyst that starts everything. That's the reason why Lily and James died. That's the reason why Neville's parents were tortured into a coma, because of Dumbledore.
How would he know that one would live?
Who?
Either of them.
Because they both fulfilled their parts of the prophecy. It was from the parents of someone who has thrice denied him, born at the end of July. They were the only two kids who fit that criteria in England. Parents who had thrice turned down Voldemort, or
They
three
both
times.
lived.
Yeah, turned him down.
True.
And 3 times, and lived, and had a kid born on the last day of July. They were the only ones.
Yeah, but how did he know the kids were going to live?
What do you mean?
How did he?
Because that's part of the prophecy.
that the kids would live?
Yes. While he has a power that he knows not, and while one lives, the other can't. One has to die.
Oh.
So that's why Voldemort
So my
immediately went to
argument-
kill him.
So my argument is valid then?
No, because that's what Voldemort immediately tried to do, is kill him.
Just told him though that the prophecy said this, that, and the other thing, and that they would live. So you can
Voldemort
see,
didn't know that.
but Dumbledore can go and see those prophecies and see the
No, he can't.
events.
He doesn't have access to there. He knows the prophecy because Trelawney said it to him in person. He didn't go to the Hall of Mysteries.
You don't think he's ever been there?
No, because it's restricted access, and he doesn't have access because only the Unspeakables can go in there, and he's not an Unspeakable. Like I said, dude, I looked through the I tried to find loopholes. I tried to prove myself wrong.
Nobody else could have gone in there, saw it, and then told Dumbledore?
They're called the Unspeakables.
No, I mean prior to that.
Who? He was the only
Somebody
one there.
could have
He was the
gone-
only one there when Trelawney
An
gave the
unspeakable
prophecy.
could have gone in, done the thing, came out, and told him everything.
Could have, but you saw how big that room was. How do you know that this prophecy means right now? It didn't give like an exact date. Dumbledore only believed that it was about Voldemort because Trelawney gave it to him directly.
Okay. All right, fair enough then. Whatever. I still feel like Dumbledore knew the events to occur,
Yes,
and
so
that's why he did everything that
yes,
needed to do.
so
in the
he got
exact
Harry's and Neville's parents effectively killed.
Sure.
So that's not.
But
a good
it had to
person.
happen.
No, it didn't.
They could have lived, and they still could have killed Voldemort.
Just because someone gave a prophecy doesn't mean it has to be fulfilled in the Harry Potter universe.
That's like
There's
all
lots
they
of
ever fucking go off.
I know,
of
but
is prophecy.
in Harry Potter, prophecies can be unfulfilled.
Do you really want that
They
one?
they specifically state it, that there are just as many prophecies that never get fulfilled in the Hall of Mysteries as there are ones that do.
Okay.
I
Fair
know,
enough.
dude. I tried to shoot.
Fair
I tried to
enough.
shoot holes in my own theories.
I just don't.
I know people don't want him to be evil because
No.
he's a grandpa.
That's not.
Your granddad.
Granddad.
And he gives out lemon drops and he gives out candy to children. And he seems like a nice guy.
I
Gives
just
out
fucking
10,000
just
points to Harry
don't-
for making his
I-
bed.
Yeah.
I just find it odd that so many things happen in a very specific way, and Dumbledore had almost like a sense about it that it was going to happen before it even fucking happened.
If that was true, he wouldn't have died.
He had to die though. He killed
Why?
himself.
Why did he have to die? No, he was dying anyways.
You have to remember too that Snape also took the unbreakable vow to protect what's his nuts, the fucking blonde-haired kid. Damn it. I'm so bad
Draco,
with names.
yes.
right now.
Draco.
Snape was
Draco.
Drake.
So in
Snape
order
was
to
Draco's
do that,
godfather.
in order to do that, because he had to protect him.
Mhm.
One of the ways of protecting him, because if he killed Dumbledore, like all hell was going to break loose for him. He would have been marked as a death eater, been marked
So-
as all this shit like that. It would have been bad.
I was
So
hoping.
Snape
I was hoping you'd bring this up.
I'm not
There-
talking about Dumbledore. I'm talking about Snape here.
Yes, and I was hoping you'd bring this up.
Snape had to, because he made the unbreakable vow, he had to protect Draco's,
Yes.
and that's exactly what he did.
Yes.
If he didn't,
Yes, you're absolutely right.
okay,
However, and maybe you don't know this off the top of your head. There's a spell called Sectum Semprar.
Sectum Sempra. Yep.
It's a cutting curse.
Yeah, that's
Unhealable.
yeah, it's
Except
Snape's made it.
no. Snape didn't make the cutting curse. Snape made the cure to the cutting curse
Okay.
that no one knew about.
Okay.
So you hit Dumbledore with the Sectum Semprar,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's like, "Oh, it's the cutting curse. It's an unhealable wound. He's dying."
And they would have went and looked for the body. They would have.
Why?
They would have, because they want to be sure that he's fucking dead.
Sectum Semprar was a death sentence.
I'm pretty sure they would have verified
They didn't verify.
that his body was dead because
Oh.
he had the Elder Wand.
They didn't know that. Snape knew that.
At some point, at some
I
point
still
in time.
There was a
feel-
lot of things that Snape knew that he didn't tell Voldemort.
I mean, that's
I'm
like,
sorry, I took up most of the time.
That's
No,
that's
you-
like that's like saying the president got hit with ricin, and it's like, oh well, he's dead, except that someone magically has a secret cure for it, but we're not gonna like people aren't gonna be like, oh well, I guess he's
I'm
dead then.
saying that they could have effectively faked his death.
I don't think they could have.
I mean, I just gave you a possible way.
Well, okay. The argument that we're making is people want to see a body.
Yeah. I don't think that would change in the Wizarding world.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Because if they said,
First of all-
Voldemort's dead. Oh, okay.
That's
No.
literally what they fucking did. They didn't see the body. They didn't believe Harry when he fucking told them at the Triwizard fucking tournament
Guys.
that he came back. They didn't believe him,
Guys.
right? And for a whole year, they said he was full of shit.
Guys,
Right.
I was just gonna say that you just want to see a body, so why not have a fall guy? Please drink this polyjuice potion.
That's also a thing.
Avada Kedavra!
Transfiguration.
Throw him in a box,
Polyjuice.
guys. I did a thing. We only have an hour, but look, all Dumbledore's dead. Close the box.
I just thought of Sectum Semprar because it's specifically Snape, and he's the only one who knew that at that time. But yes, Matt, you're also correct. They could have just gotten. They could have used fucking Crouch Junior. Or no, he was dead at that point, huh?
Anyone
No,
that
he was
needed to drink this. You're dead. Throw you in a box. We have an hour, but as long as we can prove to people, Dumbledore died. Close the box. Doesn't matter anymore. No one's gonna double check a dead body, but they do want to check.
There
for
was
the
no
dead body.
there was no body of Voldemort, yet everyone believed he was dead. And then
How
when he
often-
came back, they still didn't believe it until the fucking battle in the Hall of Mysteries with the veil.
Mm.
Like I mean, you
Until he
watch-
literally was in front of the goddamn Minister of Magic.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, he's back." It's like, yeah, the fucking kid's been telling you for 2 years.
You've watched crime shows. They care about the body. They want to do the autopsy, but how often do they actually dig up another body to like? Oh wait, we got to reopen this case and double check. It's rare,
Yeah.
super rare.
Hmm.
Once they have it, it's like, oh yeah, he dead. All right.
Yeah, he was already dying at that point.
Okay.
We got to move on.
Okay.
I had 4 more books, but it's
I
fine.
think he's a bad guy. I still think he's not a main antagonist,
I think he had.
but I think he is definitely a very bad person.
I think he made some poor choices, but I think they were for a good,
the greater good.
a greater good.
Right,
So I
the
can't.
greater
I
good.
can't really say that he's a.
The greater good. Abusing children for the
Oh
greater
my
good.
God! Here we go.
I'm just pointing it out, man.
And that's
I'm not
I don't
saying-
that's why
I'm
I'm,
not
saying
sitting
he's
here
not the
saying-
main antagonist
Yeah.
because what he's doing is at least for the greater good. But
Is it though?
But
Is it?
ultimately,
Or is it what he says is the greater good?
ultimately you're telling me
Which is exactly the kind of narcissistic rant that who makes?
ultimately the clout thing you're telling me. If that's his motive, he's a very bad person doing bad things for a good outcome.
How many
Question mark.
How many evil villains can you think of off the top of your head who have given a long monologue of how they're actually the good guy doing good work?
Dolores Umbridge.
I'm talking outside of the series as well.
I gave you one.
I know, but
Perfectly though, because Dolores Umbridge, she did fucking
No, nothing.
way worse shit than Dumbledore did in a year.
Yeah.
I think less than a year.
and
She's-
whose actions allowed her to be put in Hogwarts?
It wasn't Dumbledore.
Really?
His
Because
actions.
how was he? Why was he?
But he was still there.
Why was he kicked out of Hogwarts?
He was still there.
But why did he lose the power to put teachers in place as the headmaster had?
Because the Ministry of Magic felt that he was unfit.
Why?
They didn't blatantly say because he's abusing children. They didn't say that.
No, they said like, hey, that whole like
Too much
past
shit
Because
has
nobody
gone
believes
down.
him.
4
when it came
years where
to-
children keep dying at your school. That's why.
And because the Ministry of Magic's too stupid to realize that Voldemort was actually like
Agreed.
a
I'm not
thing.
saying the
So
ministry.
I
the
don't think
Ministry
a
of
lot
Magic,
of this
the
goes on
Ministry-
Dumbledore. A lot of it goes on the Ministry of Magic
The
as well.
ministry. No, I fully agree.
Well,
with
that's
you.
just
The ministry,
government being
The
government.
Ministry,
exactly.
and I agree with you. The
And then
Ministry of Magic
they-
isn't the good people either.
Put somebody worse
Yes.
in there.
Yes.
There it is. But then she was doing a bunch of sketchy shit, and they didn't fucking know about it. They didn't do anything fucking about it. She got taken away by fucking centaurs, and then she still lived.
Yeah.
And then she was still empowering the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah, because she was Fudge's assistant.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Yes.
Government is the big gay. So I will say, no, I don't feel like, I feel like his actions were justified for the end goal.
I don't think there's any justification
I don't
for
get. No,
abusing
there's no
children.
justification.
I
I
do.
still don't think
I
he's
don't
the
think-
main antagonist, but he is not a good guy. He is a very not good guy.
I mean, 'cause there's a bunch of arguments that you can make. Nobody wanted to fucking help the dude out. Nobody wanted to help him out. The Ministry didn't want anything to do with him. He had to call upon basically like his friends. So he
He's
had to call
the
on
champion of light. Everyone would. He had the
No, the
Order of the
Ministry-
Phoenix.
the Ministry. Literally,
He
yeah,
had
the
the
Order of the Phoenix,
Phoenix.
was like. The main thing though is that he had to call upon these like. He had to do everything on under the radar, off the books, all this stuff to make anything happen because the Ministry found out. They would fucking do like a hunt on him to be like, "Oh, here he goes, giving this crazy Voldemort shit."
You just said they were stupid.
They are stupid.
So then, not really much to worry about.
No, I think. That,
I mean, a lot of
no.
stuff could
no,
have
no,
been
no, no, no,
avoided.
No.
He had the Order of the Phoenix.
Yes, he did.
Long
he had to
before-
call upon these other to help him out because nobody else would.
But he didn't.
Which
but he
proves
didn't
my point that
need
he
to.
had resources to call on
He
outside of the
also-
government.
He also didn't need to call on them. A lot of these points he's making are pretty good points. Like, the Philosopher's Stone probably could have stayed under with the Super Dragon.
I'm not saying that it couldn't. I'm not saying that.
and
there's-
everything would have been okay.
There's always going to be
Like letting
an
the girl-
alternative route to everything.
Letting the
though.
girl walk around with blatant
Yes,
evil
I'm-
in her bag, probably not the best idea.
1 year, 2 year, maybe even 3 years of what happened, and I'd be right there with you. Like, hey, man, people make mistakes. Just because he's the champion of light and the head sorcerer of the Wizengamot doesn't mean he's infallible,
Right.
right? 6 years, though, that's kind of pushing it. It's kind
Okay.
of pushing it. Either he's wildly incompetent,
Which
or
at
is
his
he-
age is entirely possible.
I suppose,
Maybe he's just senile.
possibly.
Maybe he's just a senile old man. He's just rolling the dice, and
Dumbledore
sometimes
evil
it came out okay.
or Joe Biden. Could be either. Who knows? Anyways, that was mine.
Anyways, okay, so we agree to disagree.
Move on.
Boy, howdy, that was a doozy.
And that was only $3.
Jesus
Imagine if I had
Lord.
gone all 7.
What was that? An hour? Was that about an hour, Joey? Jeez, almost an
And I
hour.
didn't even fucking
Holy
talk about.
shit.
I could have.
I hope our listeners like Harry
I
Potter.
could've
There's gonna be
proven-
so many people.
No,
They're gonna
I
They
hope
could
our
fucking suck
freak
my
out.
I hope our
because he's evil.
I hope
Also,
our
But
listeners.
still, though, people are gonna freak the fuck.
I hope
Come
our
at me,
no,
dude. At
yeah,
me.
I want to see the comments.
I
Fucking
hope
at
our
me. I'll
listeners
do it
don't
all
like Harry
goddamn
Potter
day.
because they're gonna be like, oh,
I'll do
this
it all
guy's
goddamn
spitting
day.
truth.
You know, and I know I wasn't gonna.
I
Talk,
gotta open another one after that.
I know I wasn't gonna talk about Grindelwald, but
oh, here we go.
you know who Grindelwald's best friend was?
Dumbledore,
Dumbledore. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Voldemort,
Can't have
David
friends
Tennant.
that turn out to be assholes and bad guys. I got a bunch of them.
No, he let his sister die first before he took down his boyfriend.
Oh, that is true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but you're right. He's a good guy.
Okay, well, fuck you, Stuart. I tried.
She wasn't.
I want to see the comments on this one. Brian and Amanda are gonna listen to this, and Amanda's gonna be like, she's gonna,
Come at it.
It's gonna explode.
she's gonna be like,
I've done a stupid amount of research on books I hate. Come at me,
Yeah,
please.
please comment or tweet Stuart
And-
at
and
Stu underscore
honestly,
no last
I'll
name.
fucking rip apart her whole goddamn magic system too, because it's a piece of shit and doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Oh god, I can't wait for this. I hope something
Bring
comes from this because our still most commented video
Hey.
is Tom Bombadil and the Blue Wizard.
Hey,
Let's get it.
I need
So-
you to use a wand for your magic, except for when you don't.
Except when you don't have to all the goddamn time, because
But
that's
otherwise
how
you need
all
to.
the kids, all the children, before they go to
I made it worse,
Hogwarts,
didn't I?
do wandless
I
magic.
made it worse.
Every single child does wandless magic.
Yes.
So I guess we don't need wands then.
But you do.
But
Because it has a magical core that connects with you on a special level.
okay, by that logic, you could just have those items on your person.
Bro, your
Bro,
11
what?
your 11-inch rod is special. All right? It's
it?
attuned to just you. It's
Is it?
your 11-inch rod.
Is it?
It's not like you could let any other Joe Schmo use your 11-inch rod.
Except
He'll
that
probably
you
break
can.
it. But he'll break
Except
your
that you
11-inch
can-
rod.
No, that's not what happens.
He
You
blew
can-
off these.
Nope, that's not what happens. That's not what happens. Ron's wand was broken before he used it.
Personal problem.
It wasn't because he did a
You just-
spell.
You got to be.
No, because he fell and broke it. That's what happened. He fell and broke it. He fell and broke his wand. That's why he had a broken dick. I mean wand. My point.
So bad.
What you're saying is 100% not true though. You can use wands that you've won in battle.
You know what the worst part
In a
is?
duel.
You know what the worst part
Because
is?
how do you think everyone
They
can
say
use
you
the
lose
How
it
bad
if
do
you
you
don't
feel?
use it.
How bad do you feel as a wizard when you hold your wand out and run at a wall and your nose breaks first?
Ollivander is compensating for something with all these 11 and 12-inch wands.
Jesus.
No, that's not true though.
Are
By
we
her
moving
own-
on yet?
By her own.
I know.
I'm just saying, dude, I got shit for days. I'll fucking shit on your Harry Potter all fucking day. You weak ass, bitch ass, lame ass fantasy. Get that shit out of here.
Okay.
Get that shit out of my face.
The goblins are still my favorite.
The goblins are pretty dope.
Next.
No, but we can't talk about that
Next.
Who's going next? Me?
You go.
Oh man.
because mine's weak. My example's weak. Let's just hope we don't get to it.
Mine's gonna be a doozy of one too.
Hit
though.
me.
All right. Matt.
Steve. Can we cut that? Can we? Stewie.
Okay, first of all, if Steve and I ever banged, that would not be our ship name.
No, Steve.
Can we cut that?
It'd be
No.
Stuart, a combination of our names. Stuart. There you go.
I get one letter.
You get 2 letters, jackass.
Oh yeah.
Do you not know how to spell your own name?
and that's why
Sorry.
your name is Stuart.
That's why our gay couple is shipped as Stuart.
Anyways, Matt.
Steve.
Are you sure that's me?
Steve.
Steve Art.
There are many things that I'm very passionate about between anime and movies and video games
And other nerd things alike.
and other nerd things. But there's one very specific thing that I like a lot.
Dragon Ball.
I like that a lot.
All right. Got it.
But
You like
Monopoly.
Monopoly.
No, wait. Sorry. Legend of Zelda.
That is it.
Oh yeah.
The Legend of Zelda. I am a Zelda freak. You know this. You know this. Everybody knows that I absolutely love The Legend of Zelda.
I couldn't tell with that tattoo you have on your
The
arm.
multiple tattoos I have. And also a living room full of Zelda stuff.
Monopoly.
Also, we bought you Zelda stuff.
Yeah, you also bought me a Zelda chess set.
That's
I
true.
love that thing.
That was a
by
really
the way.
cool chess set.
It was dope.
Anyway,
I love Zelda.
So does Link.
However, there is one game that I hate more than any other one.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time. And I've explained myself why I hate that game, why I don't understand why it's so critically acclaimed.
are you going to tell me Link's the bad guy?
No.
Okay.
Other than the fact that when the game came out, the polygons and everything were different, revolutionary, even though, whatever. If you look at it from a different standpoint of the story, it's not a very good game just in that alone. So, have you played Ocarina of Time, Stuart?
Yeah.
I have to ask. I don't know because he's never played it.
I haven't.
Oh, we had this argument on podcast. Who do you think was arguing against you that Ocarina of Time was good?
Oh, that's right. I remember
Oh
that.
my
now.
God.
I remember that. That was like 50 episodes ago.
Who did you think you were talking to?
I forgot.
Me. The guy who hasn't played it.
All right,
You
Matt.
don't talk at all.
That's true.
So, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Link wakes up. He's got a fairy. You know.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, exactly. He goes out to the Great Deku Tree. There's some shit going down, some
Navi.
spider webs. He goes out. He purges the evil, and then he finds out there's an even bigger evil. And Ganondorf is coming, and he wants the Triforce and
Sure.
all this shit.
You can't
That's-
let him do it, or the
That's
world
pretty
ends.
much the basic of it, right? I can literally tell you the premise of the story in like 10 seconds.
Honestly, that's the premise of most of the Zelda
Yeah,
games.
the most
Yeah.
of the Zeldas.
Link
Give or
wakes
take a
up.
few.
Stop Ganon from taking over the world.
Now,
Got it.
He does wake up at the beginning of every game, doesn't he?
I want to make it clear that Ganondorf is not the bad guy in the story.
The
Now,
guy
I'm
who
not
wants to take
saying-
over the world.
It's just like how you're saying. Not saying the Voldemort's not a bad guy, because he is. Ganondorf is definitely a bad guy. But he is not, in my opinion, the main bad guy in the story.
All right.
Princess Zelda and the royal family are.
Oh, next you're gonna say Sheik.
No, she was dope. Princess Zelda and the royal family. I have to make that very clear. And the royal family. Because in Ocarina of Time, Princess Zelda was a child when all this shit was happening. Now,
Depends on what time.
exactly. Now, prior to Link waking up with Navi coming in and being like, man, we
That was a
got
different
to
game,
do all
Link's
this
Awakening.
shit. Oh, my God.
We're gonna be here all day.
No,
There's so many
Link's
Zelda games,
Awakening
we
was
could
on
all
a
make
beach.
fucking joke.
Anyways, prior to that happening, Ganondorf was already sealed away.
Okay.
He was already sealed away. He was already defeated.
But we know those don't last. Everyone breaks out of their seal somehow.
But he had already been in the seal for fucking ever.
So it
Like,
was due to
I
happen
think
soon.
he was. He might have been dead. I can't exactly the exact details with that one. I'm pretty sure he was gone. He was like exiled, gone, sealed away. There was no way because he had like he was sealed away with the.
I believe it's. I think it's Skyward Sword, and Breath of the Wild is the only times that Ganondorf is described more like a force of nature.
Yeah, Calamity Ganon. That kind of
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah,
In
anyway, like,
Ocarina
and
of Time,
he's a being,
I believe he's just
a dude.
a being.
Yeah, he's just a
like
dude.
a creature.
He's
Yeah.
like a
That's been
friggin'
sealed.
12
Even
foot tall,
though-
like green orange-haired elf dude.
Even
Yeah.
though Breath of the Wild is supposedly in the Ocarina of Time timeline, it's after.
I've always thought that was stupid and didn't make
Same,
sense.
same.
Okay.
But that's what they say. So Ganon was already sealed away.
Okay.
He was completely incapable of getting the Triforce because that's what he wanted. He wanted the Triforce.
Sure.
Triforce power, he wanted that. He was completely incapable of getting it. He couldn't get it. But then here comes fucking Princess Zelda, who decides to wake up Link on basically a whim that Ganondorf was going to break out and get the Triforce and take over and do all this shit. She didn't have to do any of that. She just had to literally do nothing. And Ganondorf never would have broke out, never would have gotten the Triforce power, never would have done all this shit, never would have caused all this havoc and crazy shit. If she would have just left it alone, Link would have had a normal life in Ocarina of Time. He would have grown up, whatever. Kids probably would still made fun of him because he didn't have a fairy, but whatever. And he would have been fine. Nothing would have come to Hyrule or that entire world if Zelda just left it alone. She didn't have to go and fucking try and harness the power of the Triforce and do all this weird juju shit. She just leave it alone. Ganon was already sealed away. The Triforce was fine. You don't have to fucking do anything with that. It's already up with the gods and all that. She don't have to do anything. Because she was on a whim, she wakes up Link and puts him through all this fucking pain and torture going back and forth through time and doing all this stupid bullshit and almost legitimately like losing to Ganondorf and putting Link through hell just on a fucking whim. And then I wrote a whole bunch of shit about the royal family because the fucking storyline will fuck me up. So, the creation story. In Ocarina, the goddesses, that's what they are. They're the descendant of the heavens before there were souls in life create the world. Skyward Sword, because you brought that up, it contradicts the creation story a little bit.
Yeah.
Link and the people who would become Hylians and live in Skyloft, which is the little city in the sky. They worship the goddess Hylia and know nothing of the world down below. When Link does fucking go down there, it's like inhabited by all this shit, and he's just like, what the fuck? Because he's never been down
Goblins
there.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like he's never seen it, so he's just like, what the hell?
What's this Pokemon?
Yeah, and then like all the landscape shows the life of like civilizations, them being there forever and all that kind of shit. And that like has technologies that like far exceed anything that has been in prior Zelda games. You know, it's like a whole new world like down there. And then they've like in the other games that to follow that, like it's all been destroyed. And some of the races are still there though. So you have like the Gorons, you know, and all those races. They're still there. And
Fish
then
people.
some of them in Skyward Sword, like the mole people are gone. You know, all those guys, and it was just like they're basically killed for like not surrendering or whatever. But the Sheikah tribe were the bodyguards of the royal family. So Impa, now in Ocarina of Time, you know Impa, is the last of her kind, and her people's traditional village was like cleansed by the royal family. Like the royal family always had a hand in like everything in fucking Hyrule, rightfully so. They're the royal family. The Sheikah emblems, the songs, the ancient technology, so like the stones and the lens of truth and all that were completely absorbed and they were appropriated.
So basically, they genocided them and then took their shit.
Yeah, the royal family. But they're good.
And there's a holiday now out of now.
And yeah.
Christopher Columbus Day.
The presence of the Temple of Time already present on the surface in Skyward Sword. It's on the surface in Skyward Sword. And all the time, the manipulation of the technology could have been of like the Sheikah Slate origin, because you even have the slate in Breath of the Wild. All the songs that control time are used by the royal family could be assumed to have come by Sheikah wisdom when they initially like, absorbed them.
Genocide.
The Gerudo could be subculture. It resulted from some of them submitting the royal family and some of them not. Sheik is also a Middle Eastern title. Didn't know if you knew that.
I did.
Probably did. So this...
You know why? Because of the Iron Sheik.
yeah. That's exactly why. So, in Ocarina, Ganondorf and the Gerudos are clearly based on Middle Eastern civilizations. The main currency in Zelda are rupees. You know, it all kind of falls in place. The Gerudo symbol is also a symbol in Islam. I didn't know if you knew that.
I'm sorry. Isn't rupees
Indian?
Russian?
India.
Indian?
Indian.
Oh, it's Indian?
Yeah.
Indian. Yeah, it's
okay.
Indian.
Yeah.
I thought that was rupees.
No, rupees.
What's rupees then? Is that Russian?
You might have those backwards. You know what? You guys keep talking. I'll Google it.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the Gerudo are able to use magic. The magic is sourced from somewhere other than the goddess. Obviously, because of any kind of magic that can happen in Hyrule is other than what the goddesses have. I'm assuming. The Spirit Temple shows obvious decay, suggesting that the Gerudo were once a more prosperous people than they were in Ocarina. And the Spirit Temple also has a goddess
Holy
carved
shit.
into the face.
Are you saying that Hyrule is because of fucking mud floods? The
Yeah.
mud flood conspiracy is Hyrule?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so you did have it backwards. Russians are rubles and
Okay.
Indian is rupee.
Hell yeah. I'm glad I wrote that right. I did a lot of research on this too, and it'll all fall into place here. So, the Spirit Temple has a goddess carved into its face. It's a holy place to the Gerudo. The goddess represents the earth, the planet itself, and that's the source of the Gerudo magic. Now, if you go to Skyward Sword, Demise is a beast imprisoned by the goddess into the earth. Demise is basically...
Isn't that what caused the planet to be all shitty, and that's why people had to live in a floating goddamn city?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Demise is like the physical manifestation of the planet, you know, basically.
So Groudon.
Yeah. if you consider like the earth like God, that's pretty much it. He's fucking Jesus. Like that's what it is. The goddess of creation create the goddess of Hylia as an answer to him, to Demise.
So Kyogre.
Sure, we're going by Pokemon terms now. Wherever their origin, the goddesses aren't from the heavens, they're of another world, and their combined power is fucking too much, and always gives the followers like the upper hand in all the situations. Demise is of the planet itself, and he can never truly be killed without destroying the planet. He basically has to kill himself. Being that there are already civilizations on the surface, the goddess creates the people of Skyloft, because you were saying that they have to go and they have to live in the sky and all that juju. And then they, in the future, become the Hylians of the future. And that matures them into a civilization until they're ready to take over after all this shit goes
So
down.
Skyward Sword was before all the other ones?
I would say
Because they were
yes.
living, because all the other ones take place on the
surface. On the surface, yes.
Skyward Sword chronologically
I believe it's
occurs
before
first.
Ocarina.
Even before the first.
Before that, yeah.
Even before the first NES Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. Before Link's Awakening and all that. Eventually Lincoln.
Okay.
The eventually Lincoln. So they send Link down to try and destroy Demise, and he does it for a little while, like just like a temporary fix, whatever. And then Demise knows that in a hand-to-hand combat he probably will lose, but he knows his spirit can't die, and he curses Link to be resurrected to face him time and time again.
So is Ganondorf like the avatar of Demise then, is what you're saying?
Essentially.
Okay.
This curse also suggests a power not of the goddesses. So we flash forward back to Ocarina.
Link, I've come to bargain.
Yeah. Pretty much. So now we flash forward to Ocarina. The Gerudos are the remnants of the civilization from Skyward Sword. The treasures have been stolen, and they've been sentenced to exile in the desert, and they got to eat rocks with the fucking Gorons. The treasures,
And there's only chicks.
yeah, and they're only chicks. They're the only of the races not to yield to the Hylian rule. And, they're the only ones that
And that's why they live in the shitty desert.
exactly. They accept the Triforce goddesses as their gods. They don't bow before the royal family. Rightfully so. They came in and fucked the whole thing up for them. And then, they're thieves, but they're only thieves out of the necessity to survive. So they have
So they're Aladdin.
morals. Yeah.
Okay.
Their climate is shitty. Their treasures are all stolen. All their treasures and relics are all stolen.
So they're Aladdin.
Yeah. A Gerudo male isn't born every 100 years. The royal family knows that Twin Rova have figured out how to give Demise a physical body again and execute Gerudo males at birth, trying to prevent the resurrection of Demise. So fucking the royal family's out there just doing work to prevent this civilization from thriving and to prevent Demise from
That's some
coming back.
biblical shit.
Yeah.
Firstborn son, axe him.
Yeah.
Only born son.
Only born son.
That's true.
Twin Rova manages to hide the male and raise him and teach him to harness his full potential. He's like ignorant to his destiny and all that shit. And swears allegiance to the royal family until the time is right. Who is that? Go Ganon. So he tries to gather Triforce pieces and use its power to help his people. And we know this because it says in Wind Waker. It says that specifically. He's much more vocal in Wind Waker and says something to the effect of his people having to endure the unbearable heat in the day and freezing cold at night, and the arid climate made it impossible to grow food. So they couldn't. They lived in They lived in the high desert.
I guess my argument against that, if you want to give me a second, is there's, off the top of my head, I can name probably a dozen different nomadic tribes that survive in the desert just fine.
Oh, there's plenty.
So
That's a video game.
yeah,
So he wanted to help his people. In Wind Waker, Ganondorf isn't so dead set on Triforce, getting the Triforce. His goal is to restore Hyrule to its pre-flooded glory. He wants to restore it back to where it was.
make Gerudo great again.
Yeah, you gotta rake the leaves. The Triforce is just a
This
means.
desert, frankly, it's the worst.
It's the worst.
The worst desert I've ever been in. And I won't stand for
And
it.
I know deserts. Let me tell you, I know deserts. Deserts. No one does deserts better than I do. Sorry. The Triforce is just a means to that end. The royal family eradicates Hyrule in the end. hoping to finally defeat Demise once and for all. When he dies at the end of Wind Waker, Ganondorf seems oddly like at peace, like he's just given up on the whole situation, trying to do it. So the royal family is almost like the puppet master in this whole situation.
So you're saying that if the royal family hadn't have, so if in Ocarina,
Mm-hmm.
if Zelda had, instead of doing what she did, just did nothing,
Mm-hmm.
then it would have all been fine.
Yep.
I could have sworn that several minutes ago someone said that exact thing.
What is happening? What are we talking about?
Nothing. You just made my argument about Dumbledore again.
Oh, God damn it. There we
Yes,
go.
you did. You fucking did.
I did.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. So I
All
guess
right,
you
there
agree
we
with me. Continue.
But here's the difference with your argument with
Sure.
they have the power of time, so they were able to see everything.
Time turner.
Oh, geez. See, well,
Yeah,
then see,
suck it.
so Dumbledore
Suck
could have seen it all.
Except he didn't go forward.
You don't know. You don't know why, because you're granddad.
No, he's the granddad.
But they had the power of time, and so she could have foreseen everything and events to ways to prevent Ganondorf from coming out.
Are you
But
telling
the choices
me
she went with was to make Link endure all this shit and go through this meaningless, monotonous
hold up?
fucking fight against Ganondorf for nothing.
So you're
Sure.
telling me
Sure.
that Princess Zelda
Mhm.
had Biff Tanner's
Oh,
1951 almanac?
Sports Almanac, yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
That's
so
fair.
there's nothing about Ganondorf's action prior to him overthrowing Hyrule, about him being evil at all. There was none of that shit. Like, if you look at anything chronologically about Ganon, I want to say from Ocarina, because prior to that, if you played the original ones, he was like a pig monster dude.
Yeah.
whatever. But if you do
Like a boar.
if you do like Ganon, like I'm discussing in Ocarina, there's nothing about him being a fucking bad guy at all. Nothing.
I mean, the future kind of sucks.
His
Every time
future
you go
sucks.
to it.
Yeah. For real. But prior to that, there was nothing. So how would they just have this magical hunch that fucking Ganondorf was this bad dude? You know, we're only told he's evil by the people in the races that have submitted to the rule of the royal family. The royal family puts so much pressure on everything, and Zelda and everybody puts so much pressure on everything. Even Zelda is brainwashed by the royal family.
So you're saying
There's a scene.
it's a Weimar where the Gerudo in this case would be the Jews and homosexuals and
Minorities.
any
Yeah.
non. So you're saying that they're
Yeah.
basically Nazis.
100%.
Okay.
The royal family, there's a scene in Ocarina of Time where Link meets with Princess Zelda and they're in the garden. And Zelda's explaining to Link, like, there's a man in there and he's evil and da-da-da-da-da. And they look through, like, the little hole and Ganon, like, notices them or whatever. But he's there. She has this whole dialogue about him that really more so spells that, like, I've been told that this person is bad. So like the royal family is real brainwashing.
So the royal family has time travel, right?
Well, they have the power of the Triforce, yeah. So the Temple of Time.
At that point, when she tells Link that Ganon's evil, the royal family has the time travel ability at that time.
I would say yes. I would assume so, yes.
Is it not possible that what she's saying is based on future knowledge?
I think you still have to follow the rules of, like,
So you're saying causality,
yeah. I think you still have to follow the rules of, like,
unless the cause is actually the effect.
right. I don't know about that, actually. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, time travel's weird.
Yeah, time travels, it gets real finicky. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I don't think that, like, Zelda went and used that young Zelda, because they were only kids, or like 8 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that is the same Zelda that was, like, traveling in between
Well, you also got to look at
and
it.
being like, now I'm going to be young Zelda. I'm going to explain to Link, like, this is what's going on, so that he gets an idea.
No. What I meant was that any other member of the royal family, like her
Oh,
father
who knows?
or mother,
Who fucking
could
knows?
have been the ones.
Probably. They probably did. Probably.
Because
So
you
then,
got
so
to.
then, so then there's not. It always seemed to me that there wasn't a whole lot of free will in Zelda.
There's not.
Like, you're set on a track in order to fulfill your destiny,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the track you take.
Right.
Like as much as Breath of the Wild was open
I
world.
feel like the only game that has the opposite of that is Majora's Mask, because there was only so much time in a day to make a choice to prevent the certain events from happening. I think that was the only case.
Smiley Moon hitting the planet.
Yeah. And he's really like this.
Oh, God, for ya. Oh God, no.
Yeah. Now, Matt, in Twilight Princess, which you played
I did.
and you liked it,
I did.
the Gerudo aren't even there.
Nope.
The Gerudo aren't even around.
Nope.
Well, you don't see them.
No, they're definitely not there. Because
Is that what it said?
they're not
I thought
there.
you just didn't see them.
They're not there.
They're never mentioned.
They're not mentioned.
Well-
They're not there at all. Like you scour the whole land. I think there's text too that you can read that
Okay.
they're not even.
I
they're
honestly don't
there.
remember. So
Yeah. We hear the story of the Dark Interlopers who toyed with dark magic, attempting to take the Triforce for themselves.
so the Gerudo.
And then, huh?
So the Gerudo.
No. Midna mentions the gods of her people, not necessarily the golden goddess bitch. On the official timeline, it shows that during the events of Majora's Mask, Ganondorf was executed because the Sacred Realm was protected in the child timeline. It doesn't mean that Ganondorf and the Gerudo didn't bust out full extent of their magic in an attempt to accomplish their goal, which was the few shadow shit. After the failed attempt, they're chased back to the Gerudo Desert, where they're sent to the Twilight Realm by the mirror, the one at the end of
Yeah.
Zelda. Yeah. The Twilight are known to have evolved from dark interlopers, and the rare head suggests Gerudo's descent. So if we look at the temples in each of the game, they're obviously run down and filled with monsters finding refuge or crazy traps and all this stupid bullshit. They had to have refused to yield to Hylian rule. What purpose would be served in the creation of elaborate temples with one room of obvious importance out of all of them? There's always one room that's the important one.
Yeah. That's where I put the boss.
By the royal family, only to completely abandon them not long after.
Breath of the Wild tells us why.
Breath of the Wild does tell us why. But prior to that, because I have no mention of Breath of the Wild in this.
Okay.
This is just
I was gonna say Breath of the Wild answers that question.
yes, but Breath of the Wild is done well. It's done well. So a lot of these other games, like specifically Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess, have a lot of holes in them that all kind of tie together with this royal family being this fucking super impressive, super controlling, like dictatorship.
Nazis.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm getting to the end of my thing here. So they're remnants of a civilization, once holy places to them, that has been wiped out. In the original run of Ocarina of Time, in the Fire Temple, the music includes an Islamic prayer chant that says, "I bear witness to the fact that there is no God but Allah." I don't know if you guys knew that. But that's actually in the game.
Actually. I always attributed that to Japanese not understanding other religions.
Probably.
Much in the same way that Neo Geo.
Not saying that Japanese are ignorant. but-
No, I'm sorry. Let me correct that. For example, in Evangelion, the people like to make a lot of noise about like, oh, there's all these Christianic
Biblical references.
and
Angels.
symbolism and iconography, and they try and like make more out of it than it is. And in reality, the creator just said, "Oh well, we didn't really know a lot, and we just thought they were cool.
We just
That's
thought
why-
it was cool.
We
Yeah.
just thought it was cool. That's
Yeah.
why it's there."
Yeah, pretty much.
And like the whole like naming them angels and the crucifix and all that other stuff, they're like, we just thought it was cool,
Yeah.
and there's no like deeper meaning.
Yeah, I know. But then
So
it's in
is
there,
it
you know,
possible
that they're just
that they just took a line from the Quran?
probably?
Okay.
I think that's totally fucking accurate.
Yeah.
They're like, this looks neat. And they just
No,
it could have said something like,
'cause
and we like meat,
that's what, but not pork.
but not pork.
But that's what That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
because they'll just
So, and with the original Gerudo symbol being a symbol of Islam, I kind of doubt it was an accident. But
no. I'm
But
not
then
saying it was an
again-
accident. I'm saying they did it on purpose.
oh,
but they
definitely.
didn't. They just took it and plopped it in there.
There
and
were
then,
no
and then when
like
people try to attribute that to like real life connections, it doesn't add up.
When they
Yeah,
when
like,
they made the
just
game,
took
they didn't
this
have
shit.
reasons for it.
Yeah, they just took, hey, this is a cool thing, and we're just gonna slap it on there.
I like this symbol. Where's it from? Islam. Cool. Well, let's use an Islam prayer chant while we do the song.
Yeah.
Perfect. Boom, boom.
Like I know
Done.
that like in later versions of it they removed that because they didn't want like real world religious shit in the game. I know
Yeah,
it, but
because
like
then
prior
they-
to that, they wouldn't have done that if they didn't know. Or,
Yeah.
like that's just they had to have. Nobody did like quality assurance or whatever the fuck, Nobody looked at it to make sure that there wasn't some real world shit in it. So if it's true that they didn't know that they did know, it's a hint that the temple was occupied by the Gerudo essentially. Now when Ganon returns, they become more active. I always found that kind of weird too. That when Ganon returned, the Gerudo became way more active in the game. To the bosses and monsters, he's the hero that will free the Gerudo at the end of it all.
I know you didn't say it, but I'm just gonna
I-
add it. Not in Breath of the Wild, though.
Not in Breath of the Wild.
So
No,
he's
because
their
he
Jesus.
was just like all about fucking up the Hyrule Castle
Yeah.
the whole time. He
Not
didn't
in
give
Breath of the Wild.
He
though.
didn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah,
in that
because one of
one.
the heroes against him was a Gerudo.
yeah,
So
what's Urbosa? She's dope.
Yes.
so what you're telling me is that in the timeline you're giving me, Ganon is the Gerudo's Jesus.
Correct. Very much so. Yeah.
Or Captain America to the Hylians' Red Skull.
Fair.
Now
To go with your Nazi reference.
in Wind Waker, we see the gods, such as I think it's Valu and Cyclos. I think they're the gods that they decided to go with. They're descendants of monsters who submitted the royal family when they flooded Hyrule to save their own asses, pretty much, assuming that all hope was lost. As Link, who's the person that you play, we assume that history is exactly as the stories say because we're children and that's all we've ever known. Link is the one-man crusade. He's a pawn that's led to potential slaughter to defend what he believes to be good without ever actually knowing the fucking truth.
That sounds super familiar.
Man.
We're on my shit now.
Okay, I'm just pointing out that you just made my argument for me.
I never said that Harry wasn't following blindly.
All right.
I never said that because he totally was.
All right, so Link
He totally
Link,
was.
Link is brainwashed by the Hylian government.
Well, he's led to believe certain facts.
Yes, because prior to him waking up and all this, he was just a dude in the forest. He was just an elf in the
Yeah.
forest doing his thing.
Half elf.
Yeah, and until some fairy came in and fucked it all up for him, and he just followed blind. How would you know the events of the outside world at all if you weren't subjected to it and just told? You don't fucking know. It all looks pretty when we got all the flashy and the wooshy and everything's all clean and nice. And
If you're off the grid
You
and
know?
someone walks up to you with a cell phone and says, "Dude, check out the news," and you're like, "Oh my god, that looks awful,"
and you had no prior knowledge to
But-
anything else,
but you don't know the news isn't faked.
right?
Also, what's a cell phone?
Yeah. Also, what is a cell phone?
That's true.
Now, I will say I can't fully put on like Zelda's actions completely like that they were her own, because when she was younger, it was obviously the royal family putting that shit on her and brainwashing her. When she got older, though, she should have probably fucking realized that, oh, wait a second. We have the power of time. I can go back and fix some stuff. But instead, she's ignorant and stupid, and
Well, when you've been brainwashed as long as you have, you become part of the system.
but she has the power of time, so she can see this shit going on. When she realized, I would have been like, I didn't know what the fuck happened before all this shit. I'm gonna go see this shit real quick, and I'm gonna go look at it. I'm assuming that she did. I believe that she had to at some point, and then
Depends on.
still
it depend-
subjects
it de-
links to all that shit.
It depends on when the Temple of Time was built.
Right,
Because you can't go back before it was built.
right.
So.
But I know it was built like at the time of the dawn of the goddesses and everything.
You don't see it in any other game.
No, you don't see. Yeah, you see it in. No, you see it in A Link to the Past.
Well, a Link to the Past. But I'm
Yeah.
saying like Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword,
No, you don't really. Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Wait. I think you see it in a link to the or in I think you see the Temple of Time in Twilight Princess.
Do you?
I think so. You see Temple of Time is in Breath of the Wild.
I'm mistaken then because
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure the Temple of Time is in Breath of the Wild. But no, it's not in every game. You're right. But regardless, Zelda being ignorant and stupid causes Link a ton of fucking grief. And essentially subjects him to a world of pain and
Unending.
torture and unending and all this shit for nothing. Just because her royal family wanted to fucking oppress, basically.
So he becomes the Pontius Pilate to Ganon's Jesus.
Correct.
I would say that I'd agree with you, except for one thing. We
Sure.
don't know how time is shaped in the Legend of Zelda universe.
You're right.
If
There
it's-
are multiple realities.
If it's well, it might not even be multiple realities. It could just be that time is cyclical. If time is cyclical, then they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and that's it.
No, because Oracles, the
Mhm.
Oracle games, Oracles of Seasons, or whatever the hell it is,
Okay.
those are alternate realities that Link passes through
Uh huh.
in the other games.
Okay.
He actually passes through those. They're
Alright.
actually alternate. I think even Link to the Past was an alternate reality
Okay.
that Link.
But
actually
those could
passes
be
through.
two circles next to each other.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that's not necessarily disproving that time is cyclical.
Right.
It just means that there's alternate realities where time is also cyclical.
Right.
And once again, just because you move to an alternate reality doesn't disprove that time is cyclical, because that could be what you had to do because that's what you do.
Right. I very much think that it goes off of that.
You're
Banner.
saying Back to the Future, not Terminator.
I'm like how Banner explains it in Avengers, where if we just put him
Back
back,
to the Future.
if we just put him back, it's like it never happened.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because
so
if-
you're talking about collapsing alternate realities.
Correct.
Okay.
Because if that were the case, there would have been no reason to fucking wake up Link. Link could have just continued to live his fucking life.
Possibly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So in the end of it,
Hylians are Nazis.
Ganon is actually just trying to do what's best for the Gerudo. And he's doing everything that he can because they've been fucked with the entire time by the fucking royal family, by the Hylians.
So what you're saying is
There we go.
is that he's striving for the greater good.
Yes.
Okay.
So, in my eyes, now, of course, Ganon had to do some shit in order to make some things happen. So, of course, he had to do some bad stuff
Greater good.
for the greater good of the Gerudos and what he felt was right. But at the end of the day, he's still a bad dude. However, the royal family ultimately, or the reason why all this bad shit is even fucking happening, because if they wouldn't have even started to do that, we wouldn't have had Ganon going crazy. We wouldn't have had fucking Triforce all split all over the place. Ganon wouldn't have had to have been locked away, and Link would never had to have been fucking brought into the equation as a random third party. What was it? I'm reaching out to a random farm boy. It's random. It could have been anybody. It could have been fucking anybody.
I mean, not that douchebag at the beginning of Skyward Sword. but-
No, fuck that guy. But
Okay. You know
anybody
exactly what I'm
else.
talking
Yeah, I
about?
know exactly who
Fuck
you're
that
talking about.
guy.
But it could have
I don't
been.
know his name. Fuck that guy.
It could have been anybody else.
Could have been Tingle.
Which makes me. Oh God.
Get out.
Just green pants
Get
ass.
the fuck out. How dare you bring up that fucking name? We almost went through an entire fucking conversation about Zelda with
Okay.
no one mentioning him. And you just fucking had
Fucked
to,
it up.
didn't you?
So because of the fact that it pretty much could have been anybody,
Mhm.
means that it's all pointless. It's all pointless. All Zelda had to do was nothing.
I agree with you except on one point.
Go
Unless
ahead.
you already did it.
My argument to that would be I believe your statement does not need to specify or single out Princess Zelda and just say the royal family, because while her actions were what started things, I would imagine in a situation like that, in the way she grew up, and if, let's say, for the sake of the argument, everything you said is 100% true, she's going to be so brainwashed by the family that she will be part of the family. She's not going to look back. There is no back. I mean, there is, but like everything they've done is right. No one will question that. She won't question it.
Fair enough.
So it's just the royal family.
So
She just happens to be special because she has a name.
yeah, I guess you're right.
Because I imagine that family.
She's she's just another victim in
would,
their fucking eternal reign of shit.
and if time had kept going in the exact same pattern that it did without involving Link, then she'd just, as they grew older and died, she'd be the next queen in line doing the same thing and passing her knowledge to the next and so on and so forth.
Another argument for cyclical timelines.
Okay, yeah, you're okay.
So I agree
Okay,
with you.
okay,
I agree with you, but I wouldn't single
Because
out Zelda.
Ganon,
I agree with you simply because you made the same argument I did. And I was right.
because Ganon is sealed away in the Four Sword.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
She could have not done anything.
she could have just not done
it would have been
anything,
fine.
and it would have been fucking fine.
Yeah.
Whatever, Dumbledore. Anyways, Matt, what do you got?
What you got?
So wait, so you both disagree? You both think that?
No, I agree with you
No,
mainly because all
I
the
agree with
points you
you.
made were the same ones I made about Dumbledore.
God
so
damn it!
I guess I'm right.
I know it's funny though, is because I made that. I wanted to make sure that my argument
Something
about
about the
that was
greater good.
valid. So I talked to a buddy of mine. He was like, "Dude, I never realized that the Hylian family totally fucking oppressed the Gerudos." Like, he's like, "No, that game is like way worse to me." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, fuck the royal family."
I also tested out my theory with Joey and someone else from work who is a Harry Potter fan, and their both reactions like, "Yeah, that guy's a dick."
Yeah, I had a bunch
But
of people.
Joey doesn't like Harry Potter anyway, so that matters.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. All right, Matt. What about you, man?
We probably don't have a lot of time left.
We're at 2 hours. Woo!
I'll make this.
I took up so much.
You took
time.
up a third of it,
I'll
or
make
2/3
this-
of it.
I didn't even get through all of it.
I'll make
That's
this.
how much
I'll
I
make
was
this
prepared.
real short, real sweet.
We'll see.
I'll make this real short, real sweet. I'm gonna jump into film.
I
real
disagree
quick.
with. Sorry.
You disagree? You know what? You're probably right. I'm gonna try to make it short and sweet and just drag my sentences on forever and talk like Donald Trump at the debate. Anyway,
We keep going back to politics.
I'm gonna jump into
The
film.
debate was yesterday, guys. That's why we're stuck on it. Sorry.
It's funny, even though yesterday isn't yesterday when this goes up. So
Anyways,
I'm gonna jump into film. You guys have probably seen either version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
yes.
Okay, so there's no really like main antagonist in the movie. The antagonist is really meant to be like
Slughorn.
I don't remember him in Charlie and the Chocolate
He's
Factory.
the other candy guy. He's trying to steal. He's trying to pay the kids to
Yeah.
steal Wonka's formula.
I swear Slughorn was the guy from Harry Potter.
It's the same name.
I know.
It's the same guy.
I'm sorry. Harry
Slugworth.
in. Now I'm confused.
Don't worry about it.
One of them Slugworth. One of them
I'm gonna
Slughorn.
jump away from you here. I'm gonna jump away from you here.
Slug.
The true like the antagonist of the movie is really more. It's an internal thing. The kids, their parents, so on, whoever's with them. It's a greed thing. It's a sloth thing. It's your 7 deadly sins. That's what you really have. But I'm gonna make an argument here that there is actually a bad guy in this movie, and I don't know about main antagonist because, again, similar to what my argument to you about Dumbledore, I don't see him as the main antagonist, but he is definitely a very, very bad guy. Grandpa Joe.
Good old Gramps.
Grandpa Joe,
the old guy who
Grandpappy.
couldn't walk.
the old guy who couldn't walk,
All right.
he laid there in bed
The Mick asshole.
and was sick or broken or whatever. And here you've
I
got
always thought they were just old.
here you've got Charlie and his family, and they're not doing so great. Like, they're poor AF. Almost to like the Little Russian match girl poor.
Yeah, don't they have like cabbage soup with like one piece of cabbage in it? It's like that's just hot water, bitch.
That's tea. You had tea for dinner.
You made cabbage tea. Great.
For dinner. Yeah. And like he uses the it's the equivalent of using the literal last penny you have to your name to buy the candy bar, and he happens to get lucky.
Shilling.
Equivalent. I did say equivalent.
Krugerrand, sorry.
Rupee. Ruble.
A lot of currency getting thrown around there.
He uses literally the last money to his name, and he happens to get lucky.
Money.
Which is great. Cool.
It's
This
chaos.
doesn't necessarily mean anything other than he's won a trip. He's not going to get anything out of this. It's not like he's getting his family money. He just wins a trip.
You don't know.
Wasn't the contest for? I thought the contest was for.
But it's a
tour, and then
But it's
someone
a-
who gets to be.
But it's
the
a
inheritor.
contest. There's no guarantee he's going to win. This isn't like, oh, I won the lotto. I now have money for
I mean,
my
it's
family.
kind of a kid lotto. He gets to go to a fucking candy.
It
factory.
is, but it's not. This is not money for his family
Okay.
yet. There's no money in his pocket yet. He
I
has
find it
to win
odd
that
that only
inheritance.
kids won, by the way.
But
Thought that was
anyway.
interesting.
So he takes it home.
Biden is that what
he takes it home, and he lets his family know. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Grandpa Joe, who's been bedridden for 20 years.
bread-ridden.
No, he's not breadwinning.
They don't have
That's
bread.
the-
Did
We
anybody
just-
else hear bread?
We just went over how they only had one piece of cabbage in their soup.
Yeah, and he's sleeping on bread. This
That's-
fucking guy.
That's my argument. He hops out of bed and starts doing a jig.
I've got a golden ticket.
So there is nothing wrong with this guy. 20 years he has been laying in bed pretending to be
Oh,
he's
right. They said 20 years, huh?
leeching off his family for 20 years when he could have been like, I don't know, doing anything, any job to help them in any way, shape, or form. He let his family almost die. Poverty to the point of, like, if this was reality, you don't live off cabbage stew.
Maybe you don't. Sorry.
Those kids don't live. That's malnutrition. Some of those kids are going to die. And he's cool with that.
Some of you.
He's
may
100% cool with that so that he can lay in bed. But now that Charlie's got a
die.
ticket,
He's very tired, Matt.
oh man, I got to jump out of bed and go.
And immediately start dancing.
And then once he's in the factory, convinces Charlie to do something that almost costs them the win.
Oh yeah, in Willy Wonka,
It was his idea
the
to eat the
prize-
stupid gas candy.
the prize is the factory itself
Yeah, but there's no guarantee
because
because there's
he
multitudes.
needs someone to take over and look after the Oompa Loompas.
But
who
there's a
work there once he
multitude of
retires.
kids.
Yes.
There's a multitude of kids. There's no
Doobity
guarantee that
doo.
any one of those kids is going to get it.
Fair.
One of them will, but no guarantee which one will.
So Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa
Grandpa
Joe
Joe.
is an awful, awful person. He's 100% okay with his family dying just so he doesn't have to go to work.
I feel like that's an argument for all the other grandparents as well, then.
How so?
I mean,
Which other grandparents?
there's 3 of them.
In his family?
Yes.
Were they also like dancing?
There's 4 old people in that bed.
Were they all dancing?
I mean, they were there for 20 years. I'm sure they could have danced 10 years ago.
Grandpa Joe was dancing right then and there.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
that guy could have been working for 20 years. Maybe the other grandparents could only been working for the last 3.
Eh.
Not to say they're not dicks for that. They're awful people.
Dicks.
Yeah, did they ever explain why they were in bed for 20 years in the book?
They were just tired.
They were just
I
tired.
just think they were tired.
I feel like
Why
there
else
was,
do you lay in bed for
I
20
feel
years?
like there was like some post World War II reference
He had lupus.
in the original Lewis Sacker. Is it Lewis Sacker? Am I completely fucking that up? No, it's not Lewis Sacker. It's I feel like there's a post-war reason why they're in bed. Because correct me if I'm wrong.
I like when you Google this. The first thing is in Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory. What the fuck is wrong with all of Charlie's grandparents?
Who wrote
They
it?
all live in bed and eat soup all day until one grandpa he realizes he can slowly gain his walking back. So it's not like
To
they're
get
all
some of that
paralyzed.
candy.
Fucking Matt's point is right. They're old and poor
Who
and
wrote
living on starvation diet at the time of the book.
Roald Dahl.
it? Ronald Dahl. Or Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl.
Okay.
Dude, some of these
I
responses.
feel like it's a post World War II reason. Am I wrong? Because the book came out in like the 50s or 60s, right?
Oh, here you go. They're in their late 70s and 80s. Their muscles are probably atrophied because in the book they tell us that they hadn't been out of bed in many years.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain
figured
why they were in the bed in the first place.
muscle atrophy would have prevented Grandpa Joe from dancing himself as a little
Yeah, we
golden
know
prince.
why he's a dick for dancing around, which means that he was getting out of bed at a regular basis to not atrophy or get bed sores.
They were probably in bed to conserve energy and not have to eat as much.
You know what else? You could have been working, you old fucks.
Yeah. Dude, I love these responses to this. How do they shit and piss then, especially if the ones in the middle?
They got bed sores
Okay.
for sure.
In the 1910s and 20s, it was fairly common in Britain for the elderly to take their beds and never leave. Very few places still practice that, though. Roald Dahl himself disliked the practice, and all the grandparents eventually left the bed in the sequel, in the Great Glass Elevator.
Yeah, I remember that.
But the majority of the time, it was common for the British and the elderly to take their beds and never leave.
So you just go to bed to die like a fucking
I think that's
cat?
where the term "you make your bed" comes from.
All right.
To just like
Ready?
Also,
sick of
Would
living.
you ready for this one real quick?
Well, they didn't even have the good fucking grace to die. They lived for 20 more years. If you're gonna go to bed, then die, bitch.
The character was played by Jack Albertson in the 1971 film adaptation.
he had polio.
He constantly talks about getting out of bed to support his family, but never does get out of bed until Charlie finds the golden ticket. On the tour, Grandpa Joe encourages Charlie to disobey Wonka's orders by stealing the fizzy lifting drinks,
drink.
later criticizing Wonka for threatening to give Charlie nothing simply because of that one mistake.
You lose. Good day, sir. It's great. It's great. It's a great scene. When he's yelling at him.
All of them were old and
fantastic.
infirm thanks to decades of poverty leading to poor nutrition and sanitary practices. The fact that
Like
their
the
diet
children
was
drinking
primarily
fucking
cabbage soup
cabbage tea.
meant that none of them could pull together the energy to actually leave the bed when they're in your 70s and your 80s. The excitement of
Until
Wonka's factory evoked
get
a
out and
childlike
dance a
sense of
fucking
wonder,
jig over the
awakening a
ticket.
deep, long repressed urge of adventure and kindling a fire that had long been dormant within his soul.
Yeah.
Or he was a lying jerk who spent his day waiting in hand and foot while spending the night secretly willing away his stockpiled money on rich food and dance lessons.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I'm going to go with number 2.
So my point. Maybe he's not the main antagonist. It's not like trying to say that, well, he's
I think
actually
it's
the
like-
bad guy.
I think it's
But he is
universal.
actually a bad guy.
Universally
He is an
agreed.
awful, awful
Even-
person.
Even by Reddit standards says, fuck
You know
Grandpa
what's
Joe.
funny is I couldn't find a lot of info supporting my thesis. Like there were some, but they weren't nearly as detailed as I went into or as my research went into. Because once again, I had 4 more books,
Jeez, man.
5 movies. But
And 4
yeah,
short
I feel
stories.
like there's a lot of people who jumped on that. Like fuck that old guy.
Yeah, Grandpa Joe's a
fuck
piece of
those 3
shit.
other people.
20 years that you could have been at least helping out your family, even if you're just standing on the street corner trying to get a couple shillings here and there.
Because in the
That's
book,
better than nothing.
In the book, it's like the 70s, right, or the 60s.
The movie adaptation's in the 70s, so the book is probably in the
In the 60s?
I will.
So they've been in bed since the Blitz, basically.
Yeah.
Cool. It's not like there weren't any like reconstruction opportunities that you could have taken. Like,
Are you
as
saying the
laborers.
1960s
yeah,
is when that movie is dated?
No.
I'm
Like
saying at what year is it
timeline wise.
in the book? What year is it in the book?
Oh man, I thought it was further back than the 60s and 70s.
I'm pretty sure it's post-war Britain.
I thought it was during.
During the Blitz? I don't think so.
I thought so. I thought so for real.
I thought. Well, let's Google what year does Charlie and the Chocolate Factory take place?
Hang on. Come on, help me out here. Load faster. Anything.
What
Anything.
year is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory set in? Words are hard.
I feel
1920s.
Jesus.
Oh, so that's before the war.
Oh, it's World War I, but
Yeah,
That's
is it-
weird.
Let's see.
wait, there are cars.
The story features adventures of new products. At what time around the 1920s, Cadbury around trees were England's two largest chocolate makers, and they each often try to steal each trade's secrets by sending spies. Yep.
Slugworth.
1920s.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we were all wrong. Well, then they changed it for the movie then.
Oh, yeah, for the new
Either
movie, they
way-
definitely had to.
Either way, let's
Alright.
assume the book takes place in the 20s.
All right.
It's right after a Great War. There'd still be stuff that needs to get done,
Yeah.
and there would not
They
be
were in bed before that.
and there would not be a lot of people around to do it anymore because a lot of people died.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
All right. Let's wrap this up.
In
So we're
closing,
actually in all in
Grandpa
agreement.
Joe's a dick.
Grandpa Joe's a dick. We're all gotta fucking agree
Yeah,
in this one,
agreed.
unfortunately.
All right.
All right.
Do that end of the episode thing.
So, in closing, you think that Dumbledore is bad?
You think that, sir?
I do.
Dumbledore is a very bad person.
The royal family's a piece of shit. Grandpa Joe's not as lazy as he makes it out to be.
He's a granddad.
Yeah, he didn't die because he's a granddad.
Grandpa Joe's
You don't
a
get any
dick.
chocolate because you're a granddad.
Yeah, you don't get any chocolate because you're a granddad.
All
You
right.
can't get out of bed because you're a granddad.
You can't dance and sing a song. You're
Yeah,
a
you can't go to
granddad.
Charlie Truck Fire. You're a granddad. There's no way you're gonna get a golden ticket because you're a granddad.
And he didn't.
But Charlie got the ticket because he's not a granddad.
That's true.
All right, most of you guys have no idea what's happening. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and to those of you who are watching. If you want to find the podcast, you can find us on Spotify and SoundCloud, which is our neutral host, and iTunes and Google Play and everywhere else that you listen to podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/likablegeeks. We post our episodes there before they actually go up on the audio. And actually, we've been having an issue with the audio. The audios for these latest episodes have not been posted, so I got to work out some kinks with that. But the videos are up at youtube.com/likablegeeks. I'll get the audio figured out within the next couple of days here. So hopefully what I'm saying right now will be completely a moot point.
Okay.
But for right now, the audio is having an issue. So youtube.com/likablegeeks. And all of our social media is at Likable Geeks, except for Instagram, which is at Really Likable Geeks, which I'm still trying to fix. If you want to find us, our personal social medias are down in the description below. Send us a tweet if you agree with us, if you don't. And also let us know who you think are bad people in your eyes. In the comments, on Twitter, whatever it might be, let us know. Let's have a conversation. We might even bring it up on the next episode.
I will absolutely
I'll debate.
respond to anyone that asks me about it.
Yeah.
100% guarantee.
I'm really looking
Because
forward
I'll
to
fight
that.
you.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I won't even bother responding to anyone who asks me about it because Grandpa Joe's a dick. And if you think otherwise, you're wrong. Sorry.
The Tom Bombadil Blue Wizards things, we still get comments about that. We still get comments about Tom Bombadil and the Blue Wizards.
And you
Still.
know what?
And,
You know what?
And you know what? We address them, but unfortunately, you guys are wrong.
Credit to that
We
one
did a
guy.
lot of research.
Hey,
Anytime anybody commented that I was wrong, I fucking clap back at them.
credit to that
So,
one guy though.
Just tell me I'm wrong. I'll
Credit to
respond.
that one guy that you're saying was a dick. I'll give him credit where it's due.
Oh, you're talking about his timeline with Aragorn?
But he was
Yeah.
Yes.
but he wasn't a dick about it. He was like, "Hey, I think you're wrong," and you were like, "It's
Nah,
this," and he was like, "Oh,
he was a good guy.
oh yeah, you right, fam."
Yeah.
Like that guy was real cool about
We
it.
don't get enough comments that we're like, oh, this guy's a dick. It's
We usually
mostly-
ignore those people and they talk shit about them in person.
Yeah.
Because we're better than that. 'Cause we're not. Yeah. You want to know why? Because we're granddad.
That's true.
You sound like the Hillian government.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys all next week for episode 95. We're getting there. Bye, everybody.
Excelsior!